technology to Sheba Studios.
It's Sactown Sports 1140. Sactown Sports headlines.
The Kings are in action tonight. We have Kings basketball as they take on the Lakers live from the Crypt. Tip-off begins at 7:30, but of course we'll have you covered right here on Sac Sports 1140. Game night begins at 5:30 to be followed by the pregame, and of course the G-Man with all of the action. In the NFL, the 49ers are welcoming a cavalry of players back this week, as according to the team, the backfield will see Elijah Mitchell and Kyle Juszczyk return, while wide receiver Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings will be on the field. Offensive lineman Colton McKivitz, and on the defense, they'll see Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Jordan Willis all during the game. Those are your Sac Sports 1140 headlines. I'm Jay Johnson. It's 3 o'clock, which means it's time for the Cattles and Ramie Show. That's next.
It's the new spot for local sports talk in the afternoon.
Cattles and Ramie. Cattles and Ramie.
I describe him as the best, obviously.
It's Cattles.
He throws it out there, speaks his mind. That's cool.
It's Ramie.
He's supposed to make people laugh. He's just an expert at it.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
What's happening? Happy Friday to everybody out there listening to the program today. A full 3 hours, Ramie. Are you ready?
I think so.
Yeah?
I'll have a cup of coffee about 4:30.
Just one?
I already I had one right before the show, too.
You better bring it.
And when he says cup, he means like 32-ounce gigantic.
Yeah, it's a travel mug.
It's not.
That's
it's
a
not,
cup.
It's not one of those like
I mean, it's a cup. It's technically a cup.
That's a Midwest small, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very large cup. Very large cup. We have a lot to get to, man. Kings, Lakers, Niners, Chargers, the Raiders falling apart. Frankie Cartoscelli joins us at 3:30, so synchronize swatches for that Kings interview in 27 minutes. And also Jordi Fernandez. We did not catch up with him on the show yesterday. You will hear from Coach Fernandez coming up at about 4:15 or so. So a lot to get to. Let's start with Kings-Lakers, Ramie, tonight. Obviously, the Kings walk into this game 4-6. And what's very interesting to me, I said this during the call this morning, we walk into a Kings-Lakers game, and it feels like the Lakers are the organization that's dealing with so much chaos. They're 2-9. Everything is kind of imploding. The GM, Rob Pelinka, is being criticized. Jeannie Buss was subtweeting LeBron James before the season tipped off. Patrick Beverley, who always has something to say, did not speak to the media yesterday. And what we have is, we talked about this.
Man, something's wrong when Pat Bev don't want to
Yeah,
talk.
when Pat Bev's quiet. When
really
Pat Bev
wrong.
is quiet, something's really wrong. And we were talking about the Kings and the culture yesterday, coming off of that great win on Wednesday night against the Cavs. And it's just fascinating. Usually it's the Kings dealing with the drama and having culture questions. But this time, as they get ready to play the Lakers, it's the Lakers facing those questions. And I remind everybody, it really started after game one. Game one. And we talked about it the following day, Ramie. This all began after game one, when LeBron, in front of the media, pretty much told the whole world that his team is not good.
I think we're getting great looks. I think, but it also could be teams giving us great looks. I mean, if you be completely honest, we're not a team that's constructed of great shooting. And that's just the truth of the matter is, it's not like, we're sitting here with a lot of lasers on our team. So, but that doesn't deter us from still trying to get great shots. And when we get those opportunities, you take them. But we're not sitting here with a bunch of 40-plus career three-point shooting guys.
Yeah, our team can't shoot.
You just said, even if we get good shots, don't expect them to fall.
We don't have a bunch of lasers in the room. Yeah, we can't shoot. So it started with LeBron. It continued with AD this week when he said this to the media.
I think roles just changed a little bit as far as, me, as far as positions. I'm in 1920, I was like a roamer, where I can be on whoever the forward is and roam around and help protect everyone. It's tough for me to do that, when I'm going to 5. Still can do it, still have to do it, find a way to do it. There's no excuse.
He sounds like he's having fun. So you've got LeBron calling out his teammates saying we can't shoot. Then Davis this week, what that is, it's a clear shot to the front office and ownership saying, hey, you guys got me playing the 5. We all know AD hates playing the 5, has never wanted to, still does not want to, and will never want to. And there he is publicly calling out the front office saying, hey, look, you have miscast me. I'm not playing the position I should be playing, but I guess I got to get through it.
Ain't this nice?
It's beautiful.
And isn't this really
makes my heart dance when the Lakers are just all sorts of verklempt.
There are some organizations, for whatever reason, different reasons for different organizations, but there are organizations that, for whatever reason, when they're down, oh man, it's just like chef's kiss. You know what I mean? Like everything you just laid out right there is just, it's delicious, man. I love it. I love watching the Lakers crumble the way that they're crumbling. And it's even better when you're watching it while seemingly the arrow is pointing up for the Sacramento Kings. You know what I mean? Yep. Like the Kings are going up the hill and the Lakers are rolling down the hill at warp speed. And Kings fans just looking at them and waving and smiling as they pass by. As this flaming dumpster passes by, Kings fans are just smiling and waving. That finally, it seems like 10 games in, they got this thing pointed in the right direction. There's something very satisfying about this today, isn't it? The way these two teams go into this game.
Yes, it's Cattles and Ramie smiling on a Friday here on Sactown Sports. And if you say, well, maybe they can fix this, what will they do? Well, apparently, according to Chris Haynes this week at Bleacher Report, he wrote that the front office and ownership is kind of embroiled in this disagreement about how they can move forward.
To hear that.
This is what Haynes wrote. The organization is facing a critical decision in the James era, a decision that could prompt key players to sour on the direction of the franchise. The question often discussed in Lakers headquarters is whether they should go all in expeditiously on revamping the roster around James and Davis, or are they better served to postpone wholesale changes until the end of the season?
What do you mean by choosing between them?
They got to choose one or the other there, Tim Bontemps. With the team's trajectory trending south, sources indicate the front office is unlikely to attach the 2027-2029 first-round picks to a potential trade out of concern that such a transaction would not significantly change the course of the season. And then he writes, it is, underline this part, not universally believed internally that a trade for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield would move the needle to title contention. Not universally believed internally. So again, the front office, the ownership, they can't agree on this. You've got some people saying, yes, Turner and Hield will help. You've got other people in the front office going, it's not really going to move the needle. Let's just sit around and wait for this season to end.
I love it. I love it. It's not just that they can't get along on the court with the whole Russell Westbrook drama that I don't really think is very much Russell Westbrook's fault, but they can't even get along up in the front office. Nick, they can't get on the same page on any level of that organization. And when that happens, that's when wheels just spin and you don't go anywhere. And if you do go anywhere, it's further down. You're digging a deeper hole in the mud that your wheels are spinning in. And I'm loving watching it. The one thing about it is I don't know if we should necessarily do the victory dance just yet.
Yeah,
you know
early.
what I mean?
It's early.
It's really early.
I think
really early.
Listen, I think you cherish the good times. You cherish the moments. Right now, it's a moment to cherish.
Going back to my analogy of the Kings climbing up the hill and the Lakers flying down it as a flaming dumpster. Let's not kid ourselves. They could put out that fire real quick with money. Like every time you think the Lakers are out, they just throw a bunch of money at the problem and they fix it. Not to say that they could do that this season. Right. And the brakes could give out on the Kings. Let's not act like this thing is definitely going to keep moving. I mean, the brakes could give out.
The Lakers can quickly move into the offseason, and like you said, they can wait for Westbrook's contract to just expire, and then they go after
giant expiring contract.
Yeah, it will eventually expire, and they will go after, somebody, some big name. I know that in the Haynes story, they said they're looking at Bradley Beal. Maybe they can make something work eventually for Beal if he asks out of Washington. But it is a moment to kind of appreciate what's happening here in Sacramento and what Mike Brown is doing, as we talked about yesterday, shifting the culture. I mean, right now the Lakers are looking for leadership De'Aaron Fox is on ESPN today with Malika Andrews talking about being a leader.
For me, it starts with defense. Like Mike tells me, I know you can score 25. I know you can score 30. That's not what I'm judging you on a game-to-game basis. Mm-hmm. It's what you're doing defensively. And then for me, it's also continue to be more vocal. I think even ever since we got Domas, I've kind of taken that step in being a vocal leader. So I think defense and just how much I'm talking on the court.
So you've got Fox saying everything right while LeBron and AD cry at the podium and point fingers. And even if the Lakers can fix this, I don't know, later in the year, maybe possibly, I still don't think they're, a contender. But even if they can try to fix it during the offseason, here's the fact. The fact is the Lakers are wasting LeBron's final couple years. They wasted last year. So far, they're wasting this season. And they're also wasting what some might try to optimistically paint as AD's quote-unquote prime. So there's no going back. There's no going back to the lost season a year ago. And right now you're 2-9. LeBron is doubtful. He's unlikely to play tonight. AD is questionable with a non-COVID illness. He might not play tonight. So you're looking at, 2-10 starting a season if the Kings can get things right tonight and figure this thing out quickly and take care of business. And you're just looking at LeBron aging, man, and it's not what this team wants. We want your thoughts. It's kind of crazy right now. I know it's 10 games in, but 10 games into this season, the Lakers-Kings fortunes have flipped. We want your thoughts. 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Make sure you like the page. Give us a thumbs up. That always helps us out with that algorithm. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you can be notified of our great content here, like the recap show happening tonight, post Lakers and Kings on Sactown Sports 1140 and the YouTube channel. So we'll get to your reaction on the Lakers and on the Kings and how it's really been so far. Fortunes flipped. Also in 90 seconds, Ramie tells you why the 49ers might have a hangover on Sunday night.
The Kings head to L.A. for a Friday night matchup with LeBron and the Lakers. It's the new spot for local sports talk in the afternoon. Cattles and Ramie.
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports 1140.
You just saw me on YouTube. I was playing the cowbell. Brad Wilkes. Yeah.
You play the cowbell professionally? Are you a trained cowbell player?
I could play a little drum. So if you put it like near the drums, I could hit it a few times.
Oh, you do play the drums a little bit.
Yeah. I used to play a lot more when I was young. Not that I'm good right now. I mean, I haven't played consistently in forever, but
I have zero musical talent.
Really?
None whatsoever.
It's unfortunate.
Can't do it.
Exactly.
Can't do it, won't do
it.
Before we get to the Niners and whether or not there's going to be a hangover on Sunday night, Ramie thinks there could be. He'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. We remind you that in 15 minutes, Frankie Cartoscelli from Sactown Sports will join us to talk Kings, Lakers, and much more about what the Kings have done through the first 10 games. Let's see some of the reaction here at the YouTube channel, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Poker Pro Eric, BLA, beat LA. We also have Silent, loving Rami's just smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave, LOL. Silent does say, though, I hope you guys haven't jinxed the Kings today. I gave him the reverse jinx on Wednesday.
Do you believe in jinxes? Are you a jinx guy? I'm not a jinx guy.
It's been 16 years. We're past jinxes.
Like, I will talk about it. That's true. I will talk about a no-hitter while a no-hitter is going on. I don't care. I'm not. If I can affect, I don't have that much power. It's arrogant to think I do or that I would.
Cole G says, Rami, the Lakers are in the bottom quartile of the bottom quartile.
In the upper quartile of winners, we're in the top quartile of that upper quartile.
Brent McCoy says, I hope the Kings kick the Lakers through the bottom of that futile quartile. So there we go. More quartile talk here on Cattles and Ramie on this Friday. So, yeah, I mean, again, we'll continue to talk a lot of Kings today. We've got Frankie coming up in less than 15 minutes. Lakers, Kings, you can listen to Game Night tonight at 6 o'clock. Then we've got the pregame. Then we've got the game. And don't forget about the recap show happening on the YouTube channel tonight immediately following this game. And also, we're going to start off this Kings mailbag that we are doing now. It'll be hosted every Friday by either the morning show or us. And what we're going to do is we're going to take your questions. You can submit your questions to a Kings mailbag. The first mailbag is going to be on December 1st on that Friday. So we still have until after Turkey Day, but I want to let you guys and gals know about this. You can email questions to the mailbag, Kings mailbag at sactownsports.com, Kings mailbag at sactownsports.com. And when you mail your questions, email those questions every week. Chris Watkins is going to pick 5 of those questions every week. And then each Friday, myself and Rami or Dave and Jason will answer those questions for you. And we'll put it up on the digital channels and YouTube and all that good stuff. So it's a chance for people, if you don't feel comfortable calling into a show, you might not have the chance to jump on YouTube and stuff and kind of chat with us. This is your chance to communicate with us and ask your Kings questions. So we're looking forward to that. Again, it'll start after Thanksgiving, but I just want to plant the seed, Kings mailbag at sactownsports.com. Meanwhile, as we wait for Frankie Cartoscelli coming up in just over 10 minutes, let's talk some Niners. Obviously, it's a football Friday. Sunday night, we've got Chargers, Niners. The Chargers are 5-3. And this is a team, Rami. This is kind of weird territory for the Niners because you're facing a team that's more injured than you are. You're facing a team that's going through it. Like Mike Williams is out. Keenan Allen is out. They lost Rashawn Slater early in the season, their best offensive lineman. So they're dealing with injuries. Meanwhile, the Niners had another injury happen this week at practice. That was Jason Verrett. He tore his Achilles. He's done for the season. And this really took a toll on the team. And George Kittle and Deebo Samuel talked about that this week. And here was Kittle reacting to the Verrett injury.
It just sucks. I mean, for a guy that, he's had, 4 season-ending surgeries. It just, because you see him every day. You see the work that he puts in every single day, his rehab, his road to recovery, how he works out, his mindset. He still talks to the guys. He encourages guys. He gives tips to other corners, the young guys. And he was a Pro Bowl player, and then just had a slew of really, really bad luck, and it sucks to see that, especially because everyone here loves JV. I know he loves being a part of this team. He's a big part of this team, whether he's on the field or off the field, and seeing that, it hasn't been like a quietness over a football field I've been around like that in a long time. It just kind of sucks your soul out a little bit.
There wasn't a quietness around the football field like that I've been involved with in a long time. He said it sucks the soul out of you.
Sucks your soul out.
Yeah, that's rough. And Deebo Samuel talked about the team's reaction and the coach's reaction when Verrett went down.
It took the life out of everybody in practice, like literally. Kyle tried to bring it up, but he couldn't really talk, and so he was just like, "What you guys want to do?" And at the end of the day, it's a part of his job, and that'll be the last guy I want to see on this team, like go down, knowing all the things that he's been through. So we huddled up as a team, and everybody prayed for him, and we tried our best to finish practice.
The head coach didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to do.
Didn't know what to say or do.
Could there be a hangover on Sunday?
I don't know if it's just sports talk, speak to ask this question. And for me, I think they're very much could be, man. This is a league where injuries happen. You know what I mean? And I would guess 99% of guys are at this point, for lack of a better term, battle hardened, and injuries don't necessarily affect them that much. It's just kind of part of the business. You know what I mean? Comes with the territory. Yep. And so when a guy goes down, not to say that it doesn't affect you, but you just have to go in and keep doing your job. The next play, you have to go in and do your job and not think about it. And I think a lot of these guys have that mindset, but I don't know that I've ever heard a team and multiple guys talk about an injury and the way that it affected a team out on a practice field, the way that I just heard Debo and George Kittle describe right there. Kyle Shanahan was speechless. He didn't know how to conduct the rest of practice, and I'm not criticizing him for that. Like, clearly, all these guys were rooting hard for Jason Verrett, who's had god-awful luck when it comes to injuries. He's torn both ACLs and had season-ending injuries to both shoulders.
Yeah.
And now this, it's like, what is next? And when you're rooting for a guy that hard and you love him as much as it sounds like these guys love him, and this happens, yeah, I mean, like George Kittle said, it can suck the soul out of you.
It's awful. And David Lombardi tweeted out that the Niners defensive backs will wear Verrett T-shirts to Sunday's game. So they're going to represent Verrett under their jerseys and uniforms. So they're definitely feeling it. I think they will overcome. As much as Verrett's injury caused a scene at practice, no doubt, the fact is overall this team's getting much healthier at the right time. Like Juszczyk's coming back, Debo's coming back, Mitchell's coming back. The offensive line is getting shored up. So, there's a lot of guys coming back. Eric Armstead will not be back yet this week, but I don't think they have many excuses here. The matchup's a good one. The Chargers' run defense is the worst in football. They give up 5.7 yards per carry, and because of that, the Chargers have the 20th ranked third down defense in the league, because on first and second down, teams are running it down their throats, and they have a lot of third and shorts. And I think we'll see that a lot on Sunday night. I think San Francisco will have a lot of success running the football in the early downs. Defensively, linebackers have to be disciplined against Austin Eckler. He's really their only weapon that's going to kill you. Eckler's really tough. And I would imagine the Chargers will see an awful lot of Justin Herbert throwing the football. The Chargers have the second most passes per game in the league, so they will be chucking and ducking. And, of course, with every Chargers game, you got to bring up the head coach, Brandon Staley, because he's always apt to have a brain fart at some point. He's always apt to go for like a 4th and 4 from his own 15. You never know what – he single-handedly let the Raiders get into the playoffs last year because of his coaching and fourth down decision-making on that last game of the season.
I don't know about you. I know this is an unpopular opinion. I like his choices most of the time. I really do. I like the aggressiveness. I like that he trusts what the numbers are telling him.
I think it's good to be aggressive, and I think he's mostly been consistent, but I do think he goes overboard at times in big moments, and it's cost the team. It cost him the playoffs last year.
Go big or go home.
I guess so. He's a big believer in that.
And they went home.
And they went home.
That's fair.
They skedaddled right to home. 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. Sactownsports.com is the website. Back to the Kings. Is the culture shifting in Sacramento? We'll talk about that and more with our friend Frankie Cartoscelli next.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports.
The rivalry continues. The Kings play tonight, and they take on the Lakers live from the Crypt in L.A. Tip-off begins at 7:30, but of course we have you covered here on 1140 as game night begins at 6 to be followed by the pregame, and of course the G-Man, Gary Gerald, on the mic with all of the action. In the NFL, the 49ers are welcoming a slew of players back to the field Sunday night, 8 to be exact. The backfield will see Elijah Mitchell and Kyle Juszczyk return. You can add wide receivers Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings and the offensive lineman Colton McKivitz to the list, while Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Jordan Willis will bounce back for the defense. Those are your Sac Sports 1140 headlines. I'm Jay Johnson. Coming up, the Kings Cowboy Frankie C joins Nick and Ramie to talk Kings. That's next.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the afternoons. It's Cattles. It's Ramie.
Sactown Sports 1140.
Kings Lakers tonight. Two teams that have a very, very different vibe surrounding them right now. And joining us, our friend, Frankie Cartoscelli from SactownSports.com. All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Frankie, on a Friday, let's talk about the first 10 games, Frankie. Did they fall short, meet, or exceed your expectations?
Fellas, great to be back for this Friday afternoon.
Great to have
you guys. Yeah, it's an honor. Honestly, when I looked at the opening 10-game slate, my prediction was 3-7. So when you look at the fact that they're 4-6, and there are 2 games there, looking at Miami and Golden State, I don't want to say they would have had both if the NBA officials hadn't made those whoopsies, but I feel pretty confident that these guys are, I don't want to say the real deal, but it kind of comes down to a game like tonight. It's a game that on paper they should win. The Sacramento Kings should beat a reeling Los Angeles Lakers team, especially one that is without LeBron James, that could be without Anthony Davis. So it comes down to winning those games that you should win. They beat a team like Orlando. It was a tough one, of course, but they come away with that one. It's about stealing those games in that category, and the Lakers are kind of in that lower echelon of the league right now. They're flirting with the last spot in the West. So I'm not impressed, but I'm content with a 4-6 start.
Is there anything, not to be the negative guy on the show, but is there anything about these first 10 games that you look at and you go, I don't know if that's real?
No, I mean, I think the biggest storylines here have been De'Aaron Fox. I think that's very real. We've been seeing this version of De'Aaron Fox since last year, so I believe that he can be this player, an all-star level player. Sabonis, you know what you're going to get from him when you acquired him in that big deal mid-season. He's playing like an all-star as well. He's one of the only players in the league, I believe, that's averaging a double-double and 5 or more assists. So that's something that it's hard to replicate and put in that lineup. But as far as concerns go, or things that I don't know if it will last and things that it kind of need to fix, it comes down to the length. I think we talked about it last week that they need more length. And against a team like Orlando, they come away and they sneak that game out. But you saw it against Cleveland, another game, and of course the Kings had their best game of the season, and if they don't play perfect, they probably lose that game. And it comes down to the length. They have Chimezie Metu playing backup center right now. Rashawn Holmes is out of the rotation. Trey Lyles has been a good piece off the bench, but they need that one more, I'd say 6'8", 6'10", big off the bench that can kind of come in and plug those holes.
Frankie Cartoscelli with us. Frankie, is it too early to say that we're seeing a culture shift here in Sacramento?
I think it's pretty. I would say so. No, not early. I'd say we are seeing a culture shift. I think that again, I hate to say it comes down to winning games like tonight again, and just repeat myself, but that seems like it's trending that way. And a game like tonight will be a very good temperature check. The Kings have kind of pulled the rug from underneath the fan base a couple of times when things seem like they're going really well and they're about to turn that corner and things seem like they're finally changing and we're on the way to the postseason. And then all of a sudden they drop a game where a team is missing half their lineup. And that's a game kind of like we're seeing tonight. But I think that when you see how the guys have responded to this new coaching staff, the way they've responded to a rough start, and how nobody in that locker room was panicked, and notably Mike Brown comes out after the 0-4 start and faces the media and says, no, I feel good about where we are right now. I feel good and think we're very close to breaking through. and they won 4 of 6, and they could have very realistically won 5 or 6 of the last 6. So that's something I have not seen in recent memory, especially while covering the team the past 3 years, and it has me feeling good.
I looked at the first 10 games of this schedule, and I think everybody did and went, oh, my God. And then you thought you could breathe after the first 10 games, but now you look at the next 10, and you see the Warriors, you got the Grizzlies, the Celtics, the Suns. There's some tests coming up in the next 10 games. Are we looking at another stretch here where we're saying get out of this with 3 or 4 wins and we're happy?
I think that's kind of the mentality that we had. That's the old Kings mentality, right? That's the mentality that we're kind of conditioned to have. Let's just sneak 2 or 3 out of this and just kind of keep our heads above water. This group, I feel like they're saying, hey, let's get 5 or 6 of these next 10. We don't care who's coming in every night, and that's kind of the mentality these guys have. They beat a Cleveland Cavaliers team where we're sitting at the media table, me, Chris Watkins, a couple of our conferences, and they're saying, oh, maybe the Kings, this is the game they lose by 20. Maybe this is the night they finally have that big blowout loss. And that just hasn't been the case. Their point differential, they're 8th best in the Western Conference. They're just minus 1.2 points. And that's something that I find incredible when you look at the teams they have played so far. And I know the Warriors are not the Golden State Warriors that we're all accustomed to seeing. And we're going to see them one more time on Sunday afternoon at Golden One Center. But I think when you look at who's coming up, it's a tough slate for sure. But this team has proven that they can hang with those teams and they can even beat them.
Frankie Cartoscelli from SactownSports.com is with us here. He's on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Frankie, how much has inserting Trey Lyles into the rotation changed the impact of this bench?
It's been huge. And the fact that Malik Monk's also picking up, he struggled the first couple of games and he's been incredible off the bench. But when you add in the fact that you have someone like Trey Lyles, who was so big for the Kings last year, and they were in that late chase for a play-in spot. Of course, they fell short, but Trey Lyles slid into a starting lineup spot at the time and just really kind of earned his stay here in Sacramento. They were easily going to pick up that $2 million option. But he's a stretch 4, and the Kings need scoring off the bench. And his defense, even we've seen him pick up a couple of clutch blocks there and some stops down the stretch against Cleveland. And I think that he's somebody that the team really likes, Mike Brown really likes, and he's going to keep getting shots here, especially in the lineup with Malik Monk, who's kind of been a distributor in that second unit and been able to find guys like Trey Lyles. And that's something that Malik said following the win against Cleveland. He said that when he's on the floor, opposing defenses, they pay attention to him. And that kind of gives guys like Trey Lyles a little bit of room to work with, and he's produced so far.
More surprising through the first 10 games, Malik Monk or Kevin Huerter?
I'm going to say Kevin Huerter, because Malik Monk, I think he proved himself last year. Last year was his coming out year as far as he has arrived. He was kind of a fringe rotation guy / not really living up to the expectations in Charlotte. And he comes out in Los Angeles last year and earns his big contract with the Kings. He's playing like he earns every dollar of that contract right now. Kevin Huerter is the guy who was kind of the 4th, 5th option in Atlanta. I wouldn't say he was a forgotten aspect of that team. He earned a contract as well, a 4-year, I think it was $65 million deal. He's someone who is coming into his own as an NBA player right now. He's only 24, under contract 4 more years with this Kings team. He's showing he can create off the dribble. He's a knockdown threat. I think he's one of the better pull-up jump shooters in the NBA right now. I think I saw a statistic that he's made 50% of his pull-up threes. That's notable to me, and that's something I wasn't really expecting. I think a lot of us were expecting Kevin Huerter to come in and just be a spot-up only shooter, but that hasn't been the case. So I'm going to go with Kevin Huerter right now.
Frankie Cartoscelli with us. Just a couple more for you, Frankie. How do you explain, or can you explain, the Keegan Murray home road split so far this year?
Yeah, it's not really an easy thing to explain. I mean, I know that he's been dealing with some personal stuff, and that kind of popped up during the road trip. And, the Kings, they played a majority of their road games thus far over the past week and a half while that really has been going on. So I think it's something that we need a little more time to see develop. I mean, obviously, you would imagine that somebody coming in as a rookie is going to play better with his home crowd behind him. But Keegan Murray, he's very stoic, and I don't think he is bothered by any road, like any opposing fan bases or any opposing crowds, anything like that. I don't think he cares about any of those things. So I think it just kind of comes down to Keegan. He's a human being going through a tough time. It seems like he's coming out of that, and he had a good game against the Cavaliers on Wednesday night. And it's something to kind of keep an eye on as we go forward, sure. But, I mean, I think we all know Keegan Murray. He's capable of playing in any environment.
When the Kings have been playing at their best through these first 10 games. How much space do you think there is between that and what their ceiling is of what they could be this season?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of trying to figure out still. But I've been waiting for that game where you think, wow, they just looked really, really horrible tonight. And even when they have a bad quarter, they always follow it up with a good quarter. I mean, they had I'd say the worst finish they had was in the first game of the year against the Trailblazers. They had a horrible finish. And you can look at even a game like the Golden State game on Monday. They, of course, got outscored late, but Steph Curry is a freak of nature and almost had 50 points. There's not much you can do about that. I mean, Steph Curry's been a problem for the entire NBA for over a decade now. So I do think that their ceiling is higher than where they are right now. And that might be me being a little positive and a little optimistic, but I do feel very confident that this team has the ability to be there in that top 10 in the Western Conference. It just comes down to, again, a game like tonight. I can't emphasize it enough. It's so important to just have them nip that in the bud right now, win a game that you should win against the Lakers on the road, mind you. It just would really kind of inject that energy into the fan base as well. I know that it would inject it into the locker room for sure, but got to take care of business in games like these.
One word answer, Malik Monk against the Lakers tonight. He's got a point to prove. Over under 15.5 shots.
Oh, over. He's letting it fly. But if they get up big late, we're going to see Malik go. He's going to go. I mean, it's going to be a lot. So let's hope he gets to that point.
All right, Frankie. We'll see you soon, buddy. Thanks. I appreciate you.
All right, fellas. Have a good weekend.
There goes Frankie Cartoscelli, SactownSports.com. Of course, he was on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Did Frankie go on the record there?
He did.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. NFL picks and more coming up.
It's Cattles. It's Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
There is
just going to guess and throw everything against the wall. For your entertainment purposes only, we've got your NFL picks. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports.
All right, we'll get to the picks in a couple of minutes. We do have a couple of texts here. First one says, again, it's 916-339-1140. You good? Mic check.
Yes.
916-339-1140, talking about the culture. The text says that they feel like the culture is shifting because the coach sticks up for his guys, talking about the officiating, and says that the Cavs game was, evidence of Coach Brown going after the officiating crews and that helping the Kings. So they feel like that's good to see, the coach standing up for his guys. We have another text, and we usually talk to Casey Joyner on Thursdays at this time, and yesterday Casey could not join us. He had something come up. So we got a text here. And when Casey Joyner is not with us, we go to our resident fantasy football expert, which is Ramie Mackloff.
Yes, I am.
And here's the text. I love the show, guys. Love listening to KC for fantasy football help. He wasn't on yesterday. I've got Joe Mixon on a bye this week. Needs to choose between starting Allen Robinson or Jamal Williams.
Help! They have started to incorporate Allen Robinson a little bit more in that Rams offense. No, I'm going to go with Jamal Williams. I'm going to say ride Jamal Williams this week.
There you go. You only get that kind of advice one place.
Right here.
Ramie Mackloff.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen. Again, before we get into the picks, really quick, The Athletic came out with their remaining strength of schedule rankings, Ramie. And the Raiders have the 6th toughest schedule remaining. The 49ers have the 22nd. Any thoughts on that?
I was surprised by that. And it's based on projected win percentage. So the strength of schedule that they're going off of is what the odds say their remaining opponents will, how their remaining opponents will finish. Does that make sense? Yeah. Does that make any sense to you? And if that's right, and the Raiders have been this bad up until now and can't find a way to win football games, that's troubling. It does not bode well for the rest of the season, especially when you just put Waller and Renfro both on injured reserve. That's a tough road to hoe.
A reminder, associate head coach of the Kings, Jordi Fernandez, joins us in 30 minutes. But for now, let's get to these NFL picks. Before we actually go game by game, let's first get an update from our man JJ on how we're doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Last week, we all chose the Bucks. They were giving up 3. Well, that was a push as they won 16-13.
I was hoping it was 2.5. I couldn't remember last week watching that game.
Everyone hit, you'll see a theme here today. Everyone hit the Titans except CV. Everyone hit the Ravens except CV. And everyone hit the Jags except for Chris Verlaine. With that being said, I'm in the front, 23-13. Ramie's behind me at 21-15. Nick is 16-20, and Chris is 13-23.
Wow.
Not a good week, Chris.
Not a good week.
More to come.
Can't even blame COVID for this one.
There's more to come in over-unders.
You were out of the COVID. You were
shadowing.
You were out of the COVID fog by then. Yeah. All right, let's start. Seattle at Tampa. Now, it's not really at Tampa. It's in Germany, and Tampa is favored by 2.5. Ramie, what you got?
Can I say how much I hate these international games before I tell you what I got? And stop telling me you're broadcasting from Germany. I don't care. It doesn't make the show any better. Cool. You had a pretzel and a beer. I don't care. It doesn't make my viewing experience. It's still football on my TV.
Can I just say this? I was irrationally angry earlier this week when we had the NFL Network on, and I saw them hanging out in the streets of Germany, and they had this table with like 5 gigantic steins full of cold beverages, and they had pretzels, and I was like, why are you teasing me like that?
I just wanted that, but you being there does nothing for me. It does nothing for my viewing.
Go to the Midtown Beer Garden, get that same feeling right here in Sacramento.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to go and check it out. Tampa's favored by 2.5 in this one. Is that right? Tampa by 2.5?
Yes.
Correct. I think Seattle covers it. I think Seattle wins this football game. I don't know where they're getting that number from.
All right. There goes Ramie.
I'm going Tampa there, Rami. Not so fast. I'm going Tampa. I think they might have found just a little mojo, even though they got a little help last week. I'll take Tampa to cover the 2.5 on a field goal by 3.
Jay Corso coming in.
Yes, sir.
I'm just going to go with the opposite of what I'm thinking, so I'm going Seattle.
Love it. I go Seattle too. Give me Seattle getting the 2.5. Their defense is improved, and when you look at what the Bucs have done defensively against like good offenses, they have not played well. So. But we'll see. It's in Germany. Who knows what's going to happen?
Giselle's moved next to Tom. That means he's closer to the wife and the children.
Cowboys. Let's get to the Cowboys Packers. Cowboys minus.
Giselle did what?
She bought a house in the same block as Tom Brady.
Really?
Yes.
Be like next door neighbors.
Yes, you got to see this. That means
it's gonna be awkward when Kim K comes knocking on Tom Brady's door.
You see Giselle's peeking through the blinders like neighborhood watch. Just peering at Tom's house, the front door. Get a Kim K alert. Woo, woo. Anyway, Cowboys at the Packers. Rami, Cowboys -4.
Cowboys are 6-2 against the spread, and the Packers are bad. Give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm following that cab. I'll take the Cowboys, even though this scares me. Why are the Cowboys only favored by 4 against the Packers? The wise guys know something, but I'll take the Cowboys.
I think there's no way the Cowboys can lose this game, which is why I'm picking the Packers.
I feel like I'm going to hate myself for this, but I'm going to be suckered in and take the Packers with the 4 points.
Might be a smart move.
Dallas's run defense has not been very good. And I just feel like at some point Rodgers is going to play well. He's got too much pride. This game's on national TV. It's going to be like 30 degrees at Lambeau. The sun goes down. It's going to be cold. Dak's going to be uncomfortable. Give me the Packers.
It's 72 there yesterday. It's 33 there today.
Just a simple change of 40 degrees day to day.
No problem.
Colts at the Raiders. Oh boy, here we go. Get fired up about this one. Raiders -4.5.
It is the start of the Jeff Saturday era in Indianapolis, and you know what? I think you get started with a win. Not only do the Colts cover the 4.5, the Jeff Saturday era starts off with a win in Las Vegas this Sunday against Josh McDaniels and the Raiders.
Did you see that type of confidence Jeff Saturday was speaking about the last couple of days?
Yeah, Jeff Saturday's feeling himself.
Man, he's letting folks know, I know how to do this. I believe him. I think he's going to take the Colts into Las Vegas and maybe upset the Raiders, but I think they definitely cover the 4.5. Give me the Colts.
If the Raiders are going to do something this season, it starts this weekend.
How many times have you said this?
I literally saw headlines saying that this morning.
Multiple.
Sitting alone in my apartment laughing out loud at those headlines.
I'm taking the Raiders.
Give me the Colts. I think this game's going to be low scoring with all the injuries. No Waller, no Renfro. I think Indianapolis will try to run the football. We'll see if Jonathan Taylor's out there, but I can't take the Raiders with more than 4 points. Come on. I can't at this point. All right, final game. Sunday Night Football. Chargers at the Niners, Rami. The Niners favored by 7.
That's a big number. Even
like
as the home team, I feel like that's a big number. I think the Chargers are able to keep it close and respectable. I don't think the 49ers can cover the 7. Give me the Chargers +7.
You know what we're doing right now? We're trending up. And when I say we are, that means the 49ers. The Niners are trending up. 8 guys coming back. Defense looks okay. The corners, which kind of are an issue for the 40s right now beside Moody Ward. They don't have to see Keenan Allen or Mike Williams. Eckler, we got the guys to do it. You got Dre Greenlaw, you got Azeez Al-Shaair, you got Fred Warner, cover Eckler. I'm taking the 7. I think they win this by double digits. Give me 10.
Ooh,
wow.
I'm taking the Chargers.
All right.
Okay.
Straight to the point.
Nice and simple.
I'm with JJ. Give me the Niners -7. They're healthier. I think this is a perfect matchup. Chargers run defense is terrible. You know the Niners want to run the football with McCaffrey. Elijah Mitchell is back this week. Herbert's going to be a sitting duck back there. Give me the Niners -7. So there you go. Our NFL picks for the week. What is this, week 10?
Yes.
That's
yes,
insane.
sir.
That's insane. It's insane. I can't believe it's week 10. Like, flying by. It's absolutely flying by to me. Maybe it's not flying by to anybody else.
Usually it does. It usually does. NFL season, you turn around, you blink, and it's over.
All right, let's stick with the Niners here before we meet up with Kings associate head coach Jordi Fernandez at, let me see, about 15 minutes from right now. We'll stick with the Niners, and I've got a question for Rami. Is it time for Coach Shanahan to let it loose? We'll discuss that next.
Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140. Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports 1140, the flagship station of your Sacramento Kings. Sactown Sports headlines.
The rivalry continues. The Kings play tonight, and they take on the Lakers live from the Crypt in L.A. Tip-off begins at 7:30, but of course we have you covered here on 1140 as game night begins at 6 to be followed by the pregame, and of course the G-Man, Gary Gerald, on the mic with all of the action. In the NFL, the 49ers are welcoming a slew of players back to the field Sunday night, 8 to be exact. The backfield will see Elijah Mitchell and Kyle Juszczyk return. You can add wide receivers Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings and offensive lineman Colton McKivitz to the list, while Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Jordan Willis will bounce back for the defense. A few players the 49ers won't have to worry about is wide receiver Keenan Allen hamstring and Mike Williams ankle Sunday night, as the Chargers have ruled both of them out for the contest. On the diamond, the LA Dodgers, they have reportedly agreed to a one-year extension with their longtime ace Clayton Kershaw. According to John Heyman of the NY Post, the deal is worth around $20 million. Those are your Sac Sports 1140 headlines. I'm Jay Johnson. Keep it locked right here. It's coming up in 15 minutes. Assistant head coach Jordi Fernandez will join the fellas. Now more of the Cattles and Ramie Show.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
Jordi Fernandez on the program in just about 10 minutes or so you want to stay tuned for that. We'll talk Kings basketball with the associate head coach. Let's quickly talk about the Niners, Ramie, and Kyle Shanahan and this offense. So for the first time in quite a while, you've got the Niners offense being healthy. And with this Niners offense being healthy, you just feel like they are, no doubt about it, in the upper tier, not the quartile, in the upper tier of the NFL.
In the upper quartile of winners, we're in the top quartile of that upper quartile.
Would you say they're that good?
Yeah, I'd say that
top quartile of the upper quartile?
Top quartile of the upper quartile of the top quartile of the upper quartile. They can be really good if fully healthy. And here was Shanahan talking about that offense this week.
I mean, you got 5 guys who can touch the ball, so the more people have to worry about those 5 guys, the better. I mean, you got 2 guys that are a little bit interchangeable. They're different positions, but they both can play the other one's position. So it just makes it a lot easier to distribute the field. It's not like Debo's going to do this for him or he's going to do that for Debo. They both do it for everybody, including one another and themselves. It just makes a little bit more space and makes a little bit more of a threat on whoever gets the ball in their hands.
So that was the coach. Here's the quarterback, Jimmy G.
When we got the whole regime out there, it's pretty fun. And we've had 2 good days of practice here. It's just a matchup nightmare for defenses. I mean, it's pick your poison type of thing. And so it's my job to get those guys the ball in space, let them go run, and be the special players that they are. But yeah, it's been fun so far.
Ramie, what kind of expectations do you have for this offense as they walk into Sunday night pretty healthy?
You look at it on paper, man, and it's about as dangerous a group as you will see of offensive weapons and playmakers on one roster. But I do wonder, like, how capped that is, how limited that is by either or both Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan, because we've talked about it throughout this year, Nick, things about this offense that just it doesn't seem like they squeeze all the juice out of the lemon sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Jimmy Garoppolo is limited in his abilities, and especially in the deep ball. So with him at quarterback and with Kyle Shanahan calling plays, I do wonder what the ceiling is on this offense, and if it's maybe not as high as it might look like on paper because of the limitations that puts on it. I think the best thing you can do for this offense, because you look at all the weapons that they have with McCaffrey and Mitchell and Debo and Kittle, the best weapon they have is run after the catch. So I don't think to get as much as you can out of this offense, it has to be a bunch of deep balls and crazy play calling. It has to be an accurate Jimmy Garoppolo hitting these guys in striding and putting them in position to do something with the ball after they have it.
I want to see creativity I want to see some different looks. Like, if you're Shanahan, you've got Debo, you've got CMC, you've got Kyle Juszczyk, just those guys, and utilizing them in different ways and multiple ways in the backfield alone is going to cause headaches. Like, you could have Debo and CMC in the backfield at the same time, and that causes all sorts of chaos. Debo wheel routes, McCaffrey wheel routes. We've seen Juszczyk earlier this year go down the sidelines off of a wheel route and catch the football. Like, they have so many different elements at their fingertips. And it's interesting, Ramie, like you said, maybe we'll never see the ceiling of this offense because of Kyle's game plans and the way he likes to run offense. But I hope we do, because they have all the elements to be so much fun to watch. I mean, for example, could you imagine a coach like Andy Reid with all of these different little weapons that the Niners have right now? Can you imagine some of the best offensive play callers in football with these kinds of weapons? I haven't even mentioned George Kittle. I haven't even mentioned Brandon Ayuk. Like, they are just so chock full of ridiculous weapons that this offense, like, anytime this offense doesn't score 27 to 30 points, you feel like it's a disappointment. They have way too many weapons not to get to that. And you mentioned Yak. And when you look at the Yak, right? When you look at that Yak and who they're playing on Sunday night, they're playing the Chargers on Sunday night. Did you know that the Chargers are ranked 28th in the NFL when it comes to opposing yards per play? So the opposition yards per play, the Chargers have just been absolutely throttled. This is I mentioned it during our picks, this is really a perfect matchup defensively for what Shanahan likes to do. This defense can't stop the run. This defense is bad on third down, and this defense allows chunk plays. And I just think, like, Sunday night should be a show. Yeah, I want to see a show. And if I don't see a show on Sunday night, I'm going to be disappointed.
At the very least, and don't get it twisted, the defense is still the backbone of this football team when they're healthy. But at the very least, when needed, I look at this offense, where in the past, I think you just looked at this offense mainly because it was led by Jimmy Garoppolo, but also I think it was capped as a whole. You can look at this offense now and say, instead of don't lose us games, go win us a game. Not every game, but go win a game or two or three here in the back half of the schedule. And if need be, in the playoffs, if one of these prolific offenses gets the best of the 49ers defense on a given Sunday, maybe you have enough firepower on this offense to win a game in the postseason as well. Because it's not just that they added McCaffrey, Nick. When you look at the way that pieces have been added or guys have emerged, you look at the development of Brandon Ayuk, you look at the development of Deebo Samuel, who I think took another step, took his game to another level last year. Over the time that Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo have been here, it went from basically George Kittle being the one bona fide, like, high-powered weapon on this offense to Debo and Ayuk and now Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell and Kyle Juszczyk. There's 5-6 legitimate offensive weapons now for Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo to work with, and that wasn't always the case. They should be able to go out and win some games in the second half of this schedule.
What's intriguing to me about this matchup, again, I want to see a show on Sunday night from this Niners offense, but I wonder if we're all being set up. Because the Chargers, again, their run defense is
the banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah, like their run defense is so bad. Is Shanahan just going to say, you know what? I want to keep some of this fun stuff in my back pocket. I don't think I need to get too, multiple here against this defense. I don't think I have to get too creative against this defense. I think we can just run the ball for 250 and win. And so maybe he'll keep some stuff in his back pocket. And if they're running that effectively, I can't necessarily blame the guy. I mean, if you can find the path to victory and make it easier on yourself, and you can kind of keep these toys, so to speak, until a later date when you face a defense that's a little bit better, then maybe you don't have to worry about, showing anybody much of anything on Sunday night, and you just go with your straightforward run offense and run the ball 35, 40 times and just walk away with the W. And then when you go against teams that are better against the run and you have to show them something different, maybe that's when you pull the trigger. So it's going to be an interesting game on Sunday night. I think the Niners win, and I think they win by more than 7. I'm with JJ on this. I could see them win by double digits. I would just love to see this offense do some new funky things, just for my entertainment. I want to see it.
We got a taste of it on the McCaffrey flea flicker.
Yep.
A couple of weeks ago before the bye, so maybe there's more of that.
Saw a little bit of that.
More trickeration up the sleeve.
Trickeration. We'll see.
It's a good word.
Yeah. It's a fantastic word.
Thank you.
916-339-1140 is the text line. The number is 1-800-920-1140. He's Ramie. I'm Cattles. And Kings associate head coach Jordi Fernandez joins us in 90 seconds.
Log on to Sactown Sports' YouTube channel following it. Sports and lots of other stuff.
It would keep you on edge.
That's really crazy interesting. It's Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
Right now, we are joined by associate head coach of your Kings, Jordi Fernandez. Jordi, of course, is on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Coach, it feels like there's a little bit of a culture shift here in Sacramento. Does it feel like the guys are approaching things the way that the staff wants them to?
And to be honest with you, I think from my experience, it's been very positive. I don't know how it was before because I wasn't here.
Right.
So I can always say good things about these guys, what we have going on, the way they show up every day to work, and they do what we ask them to do with good energy. So I think on the court that translates. We've competed every single game. Obviously, we want to improve. We want to improve every game. We would like our record probably to be a little bit better at this point, but I think the losses we've been taking are going to help us in the future. And I think the way I see it is, if we probably would replay some of the games, we're in a much better place now. The way we play, the way our groups fight and compete together. So I'm very happy.
And the record might be better if not for a couple of questionable calls by the referees. What was the reaction like among the players and the locker room to what could have been a couple of disheartening losses back to back in the way that they ended?
Yeah, that's probably just frustration. That's how the world of sports is. But, we can control what we can control. And probably if we would have been better ourselves and certain other things, we would have still won the game. There's nothing we can do against that. And I think we approached it the right way. We still, besides the whatever happened at the end that was not called, there's still things before that we could have cleaned up, and we worked on that. And I think that moving forward, that's the only thing that we have to focus on.
Coach, we've seen this team be very resilient early on in the season. Is that something that you guys as a staff felt before the season tipped off, that they would be able to get through some adversity?
Yeah, I think the reality is we had a great August. We had a great summer overall, but August, September, guys were there together. They were willing to spend time with each other and with ourselves, being a new coaching staff. And coach has always been huge on competing in every single thing you do, not just in the games, but also in practices. And right now you can see it. It's a habit. It may not be perfect at all times, but we always we find a way to fight back and stay in games. And I think that, we still have a lot of work to do and there's a lot of room to improve. But that's the reason why we're so excited here, is because we can see the growth, but most importantly, the ceiling is so high.
Two guys that were added this offseason, Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk, I think have exceeded most Kings fans' expectations and what they can do specifically defensively and with the ball in their hands. Have you guys been surprised at the totality of those two guys' games?
Like you said, the front office did an amazing job bringing those two guys in. Not just that they're really good basketball players, but they're really good dudes, great personalities, and in the NBA season, that's extremely important. Guys that come to work, but also they make it better for everybody else. And the group has been great. So those guys, their ability to not just make shots, but also make and hustle. Like, I don't know if you saw Malik's play yesterday, missed the layup, got back, got a shot blocked, and then he made a Kevin got a big tip rebound. He didn't grab the rebound, but tipped it to his teammate. So those type of plays, you remember the shots and all that stuff, but those type of plays are huge, and they've been a big part of what we're trying to do.
Associate head coach of the Kings, Jordi Fernandez, with us. He's on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Coach, HB against the Cavs, he got it going a little bit offensively. Is there anything different about his game when he has it going like that versus some of the nights like against the Warriors where he's very quiet offensively?
I mean, we know HB is a super experienced player and a playoff player. And, like you said, sometimes you find your rhythm, sometimes you don't. But the reality is HB's been so good defensively. I don't know if you remember the Orlando game. He guarded Paolo all that third quarter, and that's when we made the run. And the thing is, if he hasn't felt like his shot was going in, he did other things for the team to help us win. And we know he is a two-way player. And a game like yesterday was awesome for the team and awesome for him. So we trust him. We know who he is, and he's important for these younger guys because he's one of the few guys more experienced. Even though he's young, he's in his I think he's 30, right? If I'm not wrong. So he's a big part as well of who we are and what we want to do in the future.
It looks like Domas is hitting his stride and finding his comfort zone under Mike Brown here the last 4 or 5 games. What's been different in his game?
Just adjusting to what we're trying to do as a team, right? New group, new system on both ends of the floor. He's a leader by example, and he is a physical player. So all those things are positive for our group. He's a great playmaker, a great rebounder, and a scorer. So he impacting the game at 3 levels is very important in the NBA. That's why he is, one of our most important players.
Jordi Fernandez with us here. Just a couple more for you, Coach. Again, thanks for the time. Associate head coach of the Kings. One thing I've noticed, a couple things about Coach Brown. So an example in the Cavs game, Domas gets some early fouls, and a lot of coaches would pull the player in that situation. Coach Brown stuck with him. He did the same thing in the Heat game here at Golden 1 about a week or two ago. Also, De'Aaron Fox, Coach waited to put him back in the game against the Cavs until about 2:42 left. Is that just a coach having a feel and building trust with his players and trusting Domas and trusting the other guys on the floor when Fox isn't in there late in a tight game in the fourth quarter? Is that the building of relationships that you guys have to do with the players?
Yeah, I mean, that just shows coach's experience. He's been in the league for 30 years. He's got a great feel on how this league is played, and he's adjusted throughout all his career. And I think, like you said, having the trust in Domas and also the trust in Fox, giving him enough rest so he could come and make winning plays in those last 2-3 minutes. And obviously also trusting Davion because he was doing so good on Donovan Mitchell. So all those things is, that those are huge. Like, one of your best players gets in foul trouble, you leave him, you trust him, he's fine, he impacts the game. Then you have Davion doing his job, you let him roll a little longer, he's done his job, now you bring your starting point guard and he finishes it. So all those things put together is, his experience it's really good for the group. And right now, we already see results, and the results are going to keep coming if we keep doing things the right way.
Domas gets the headlines and De'Aaron, and we've talked about Monk and Herter. But you look at when things really started to turn around for this team, it's when Trey Lyles started to get minutes. How much of a difference has this guy been in the increased role that he's gotten?
Yeah, Trey is a super pro. I was lucky to work with him in Denver, and now we're here together again. I'm a big Trey Lyles fan. His ability to shoot the ball, to drive closeouts, make plays. He is being also very physical defensively. He came in the Charlotte game and he did a great job on PJ Washington. So all those little things, when you have those type of guys embracing their roles, because I'm pretty sure Trey wants to be a starter, but right now he's embracing his role. He's playing extremely hard, and he's making a big impact on winning. So all these games that we were successful, majority of them, he was a big part of it. So it's just really cool to see how guys, whether you like it or not, you embrace what's best for the team, because we cannot have 15 starters. We cannot have 15 guys scoring 20 points. And, that mentality of sacrificing yourself for the benefit of the team, it's extremely important.
Last one for you, Coach. I want to ask you about Keegan Murray. In the first quarter against the Warriors, he seemed a little hesitant. He was open 3 or 4 times. He didn't take the shot right away. I was wondering, did the staff talk to him at all about that? Because against the Cavaliers, there was no hesitancy from Keegan.
Yeah, I think it's, experience is a big factor in this business. I know he works with Dutch Scaly, and they watch film, obviously, after every game. And, the NBA is very different than Summer League, is very different than college. Having a feel for guarding these guys, and the reality is we're putting him on really good players, and he's a two-way player, right? Like, Keegan is really good offensively.
Yep.
He's going to be a really good defender in this league, but it's not as easy as just watching film, going and doing it. You have to experience it, and all these guys that are great players are coming at you really fast. He's learning, and he's not backing down. He's, like you said, he responded. He's been great for us. He is a huge part of our future. And, he proved it yesterday, like the way he shoots the ball. He put Kevin Love in pick and roll yesterday and made huge shots and rebounded the ball well. So Keegan is just, every single game, he's getting better. And by, mid-season, the player that he will be very different than the player he was in game 2, because he didn't play game 1.
Coach, we really appreciate the time. Associate head coach Jordi Fernandez with us here on Cattles and Ramie on Sactown Sports. Get a win against the Lakers, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, so there goes Jordi Fernandez again on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Thought Jordi was great again. I love catching up with him, and hopefully, yes, they do bring back a win against the Lakers tonight. Coming up, are the Raiders literally falling apart, or does it just seem that way?
Cattles and Ramie.
L.A. Tip-off begins at 7:30, but of course we have you covered here on 1140 as game night begins at 6 to be followed by the pregame. And of course the G-Man, Gary Gerald, on the mic with all of the action. In the NFL, the 49ers are welcoming a slew of players back to the field Sunday night. 8 to be exact. The backfield will see Elijah Mitchell and Kyle Juszczyk return. You can add wide receivers Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings and offensive lineman Colton McKivitz to the list, while Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Jordan Willis will bounce back for the defense. A few players the 49ers won't have to worry about is wide receivers Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, as Keenan Allen is nursing a hamstring injury while Mike Williams has an ankle injury. Across the country in Carolina, the Panthers standout cornerback Dante Jackson has torn his Achilles, according to the team. He'll miss the rest of the season. On the diamond, the LA Dodgers, they have reportedly agreed to a one-year extension with their longtime ace Clayton Kershaw. According to John Heyman of the NY Post, the deal is worth around $20 million. Those are your Sac Sports 1140 headlines. I'm Jay Johnson. Now more of the Cattles and Ramie Show.
It's the new spot for local sports talk in the afternoon. Cattles and Ramie. Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
Kings recap show tonight. I believe Carmichael Dave will be hosting that one. Post Lakers Kings. Check us out, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. And again, I see all of these numbers. I see 30 people viewing, 35 people viewing. I see 13 likes. If you like what you're watching and listening to, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe as well, because when you give us that like, that means local content gets more love and we start defeating that good old YouTube social media algorithm. So again, give us that thumbs up, give us the like, and subscribe.
And if we beat the algorithm.
In the upper quartile of winners, we're in the top quartile of that upper quartile.
That's what we're trying to get.
That's right.
That's right. We're trying to get.
We don't mess. All right. Meanwhile, it's getting ugly in Vegas. Is it getting ugly or is it just ugly? Already?
No, it's ugly.
It's getting uglier.
No, it's ugly. Yeah, it's getting uglier.
All right,
that's another way to put it.
First and foremost, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, both put on the IR yesterday. Here was Adam Schefter's tweets about it. The Raiders are placing Waller on injured reserve. He aggravated his hamstring injury. The team believes this will give him 4 weeks to get it healthy and come back to finish the season. Raiders also placing Renfrow on IR due to his oblique injury. So on the same day, both Renfrow and Waller are being placed on IR, meaning they're out at least 4 games each. And so, due to various injuries, the Raiders now will have had their big 4, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Renfrow, and Waller, on the field together this season for a grand total of 43 plays. Just not have been that have not been healthy enough at the wide receiver position and tight end position to consistently have their guys out there on the field. Then we heard that Blake Martinez, linebacker, decided to just up and retire. 28 years old. Said, I'm done. I want to focus on non-football things, other things that I am, energetic about and passionate about. I'm moving on from my football career.
Things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
Yeah, I wonder if Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, that was live from Dave Ziegler's office.
Felt that way when this came out. It's like, okay. Week 10. Okay, week 10. So
sure,
it
why
goes.
not?
Then we heard, from Brandon Marshall. Now, I will say this. Brandon Marshall did not have a great relationship with Josh McDaniels.
No, he did not. There's beef there.
There's definite beef there. McDaniels was hired to be the Broncos head coach in 2009, January 2009. And 2010 season, Marshall was no longer a Bronco. He was a Miami Dolphin. So there's some history there between these two individuals. And Marshall was on FanDuel TV this week, and here's what he had to say about Josh McDaniels and his leadership ability.
Wow, he's not? Why isn't he? Look at all of his experience. Look how many Super Bowls he won as an offensive coordinator, being in New England, okay, having Tom Brady, helping Tom Brady out. then getting a job in Denver in 2010 and losing. And sometimes, right, the second time around, you're better when you go through what you went through the first time, right? So he has all the experience in the world, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Maybe, just maybe, Kay, they should have went and got Jeff Saturday. But now he's gone.
Oh, boy.
Now he's gone. He's not coming back.
Oh, boy.
Josh McDaniels is definitely not suited to be a head coach. Absolutely not.
Why?
Because of what I talked about when we were talking about Jeff Saturday. Because he doesn't know how to lead people. You can have all the X's and O's in the world, Kay, but when you go into a losing locker room, the first thing you have to do is be able to get to the player's mind and their hearts. And he's not capable of doing that. He's not capable of doing that with his players. He's not capable of doing that with his coaches. And when things hit the fan, it gets worse with guys like that. You have guys retiring mid-season. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's horrible leadership. You want guys to rally around. You want guys to say, this is his first year back. I'm playing for him and his wife and his kids.
Right.
They're doing the opposite. They're saying, I'm shutting it down.
Meanwhile, Kenyon Drake, who, of course, was given his walking papers before the season began, he tweeted out, what's going on in Vegas, with 2 big eye emojis. So Kenyon Drake also weighing in on this situation in Vegas. But have no fear. If you think, Ramie, if you think that things are falling apart piece by piece in Vegas, Josh McDaniels had good news for all the Raiders fans today when he met with the media.
The energy we've had at practice this week has been special.
Oh,
and I think that's a tribute to the guys. Like I said, we know where we're at. We know what the situation is. It's not, we didn't want to be in this situation, but it is what it is. We're the ones that put us here. We're the ones that are going to dig us out too. And so I think not focusing on just the results that we've seen or the things that are going on around us. Look, it's a long season. There's a lot of things that are going to happen from now until the end of the season that none of us know. And so to get distracted easily by all the different things that happen in the National Football League on a week-to-week basis, that would not demonstrate mental toughness.
You know what also doesn't demonstrate mental toughness?
What's that?
Blowing 3 17-point games. That doesn't display a lot of mental toughness. Being over in one-score games doesn't display a ton of mental toughness. It is good, though. I'm sure Raiders fans feel real good that the mood and the feeling in practice this week was special.
Yes.
Special. They're going to win the practice Super Bowl this year is what they're going to do. They're probably going to go like 4-13.
Hang the banner up.
But they're going to win the practice Super Bowl for special feelings out there on the practice field.
You guys feeling special today?
Oh, man.
You guys are feeling.
Man.
I don't know who's more sarcastic, Ramie or Brandon Marshall.
I was saying this a little bit earlier. I do wonder. Part of me wonders, like, if McDaniels is kind of setting this all up this week, because look, if there's one game that this team should win, it is this weekend. I know we've said that.
Did we say that last week against the Jags?
But honestly, no. I picked the Jags. I picked the Jags in the NFL pick segment. If they're like Jeff Saturday is the head coach. Sam Ellinger is the quarterback.
Yeah, but Josh McDaniels is the head coach.
They've got like 3 guys that are pivotal for their defense. I'm not telling you they're going to win. I'm telling you if there's one game left on this schedule that they should win and have to win and must, it's this one. Like if you lose on Sunday, my freaking good. So I wonder if like McDaniels is kind of betting here and like, oh, it was special. So if they do win on Sunday, he can then circle back and have a victory lap and say, told you guys, things were feeling better at practice this week.
I think they're closing up shop in Las Vegas, to be quite honest with you, on the 2021 or what year are we on the 2022 season?
There we go.
I think they're closing up shop.
Quietly quitting.
Yes, this is a quiet quitting situation. So that at the end of the year, they can point back when they don't fire Josh McDaniels or Dave Ziegler and go, guys, the injuries. Look at how we didn't have our guys. Look at the injuries. That's why it was bad this year. We'll be back next year with the same cast of characters. It'll be much better.
If they score a touchdown to put them up 16, does McDaniels go for 2? Just so he doesn't lose another 17-point lead.
It's like 2. Immediately see him on the sidelines with the fingers up. 2. Look, you can deal with losing in year one. You can come up with enough excuses and see it. You can deal with it. But what you can't deal with is losing the team. And with McDaniel's history, you have to start wondering, is he beginning to already lose the team in Vegas? And we'll see how it plays out. But I can guarantee you this. If they lose to the Colts on Sunday, we're going to hear more comments from the players. And I would not be surprised if we see a lot of stuff, even more stuff, start coming out from that locker room, anonymous sources and stuff with the team. We heard Mark Davis and his regrets. We heard about not one but two closed-door meetings in post games. So it's messy, man. It's very messy in Vegas right now for McDaniel.
I love Brandon Marshall laying in the weeds, though, just waiting for his chance to pounce on Josh McDaniel. Teeth and claws out, ready to pounce.
Absolutely sniped him. 916-339-1140. He's Ramie. I'm Cattles. I've got a message for the Kings tonight. And also, we've got over-unders coming up next.
It's Cattles. It's Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
And Ashton
Sacramento has a new tag team in the afternoons.
Talking to the original tag team of ugly pukes here.
It's Cattles. It's Ramie.
Sactown Sports 1140.
All right, so before we get to over-unders, I want to talk about the Kings here for a couple of minutes. Earlier today, De'Aaron Fox was on ESPN with Malika Andrews, and here's what Fox had to say.
It's been 16 seasons since the Kings have been in the playoffs. What does a successful season look like for you all this year?
For me, it's being in the playoffs. We have an entirely different team, an entirely new coaching staff, and you don't want that burden to be on everybody. Obviously, I've been here for going on 6 years, so I continue to feel it, but a lot of these guys haven't been through this. Most of these coaches Mike just came off of a championship, so he doesn't feel the 16-year, no playoff burden. So just going into this with an entirely different feeling, an entirely new set of players and a lot of confidence.
Here's my message to the Kings. Don't play with your food. As Giannis said a couple of years ago, don't play with your food tonight. LeBron's doubtful. Don't think he's going to play. Anthony Davis is questionable with a non-COVID illness. I'd be surprised if he played. Even if Davis plays, don't play with your food, man. Like, Ramie, this is the type of game. When we talk about the long 16-year streak, these are the games where you make statements. Like, these are the games that you need to walk into that arena tonight, and you need to spank the Lakers. You need to make a statement tonight. You need to win this game by 15, 20 points. I want to see De'Aaron Fox and Domas and the starters sitting on the bench early in the fourth quarter with their feet up, laughing, having a good time while the bench takes care of it. This is the kind of game that you say enough is enough. We walk in, we take care of business quick, and we don't have to worry about anything. Because I think if this game is tight, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but to me, if this game's tight, it's a disappointment. And I have to believe that Kings fans coming off of Wednesday night against the Cavs and being 4-6 through 10, and as we've talked about, could easily be 6-4 if they weren't hosed by the officiating crews in Miami and Golden State. If you keep this Lakers team kind of hanging around, that's a disappointment. Put your foot on their throat and let them know that you are by far the better team. Yeah, we talked. Mike check.
We talked before the Cleveland game about statement game, and they could make a statement in that game by going up against a team that on paper, and most people would say, watching both those teams, is a better team than you, and in some ways a mismatch, as we talked about the size advantage that they had on the paint on the Kings. This is another way to make a statement, Nick. This is a statement on the other end of that spectrum. This is a statement where you're the team that walks in, and people think on paper, and having watched the two teams this year, that you're the better team, and don't play down to your competition.
Yeah.
I've gone back to this point, and I'm going to keep going back to this point as the season goes on, for better or worse. One of the major things I was wondering about with this team was the mentality of this team, and that can be shown in a number of ways. When you're down big, when you're up big, when you're the dog, when you're the favorite. I think that this is another test of, is their psyche, is their mind where it needs to be headed into this one, and not playing down to your competition and going in and getting what should be an easy W.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know there aren't a lot of easy W's in the NBA, but this one should be an easy W based on the way these two teams have been playing coming into it.
Yeah, and people in the YouTube chat earlier saying, I hope you don't jinx them. Look, I mean,
there's no such thing.
You shouldn't be worried about jinxing them.
I don't have that much power.
You're playing a team that's 2-9. They can't shoot the basketball. LeBron is going to be out of this game. Pretty much, we know it as of like last night. He's doubtful. I don't think they're not going to push him tonight. AD's probably out. Like there's no need. Like take care of business, finish this game. As BCH in the chat says, we better not overlook this game. Yes. Like if this is a 4-point, 6-point game in the fourth quarter, you should be disappointed if you're a Kings fan. Absolutely should be disappointed. And I don't know how you couldn't be. By the way, we're talking about the Raiders before we get to the over-unders. We've got a couple of chats here talking about the Raiders. Mr.
People
Allred,
think we're being too rough on them?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Allred Everything says, if you lose on Sunday to Saturday, then you shouldn't have a job on Monday.
That's a good one.
That's a great
one. Well played, sir.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that very much so. Megadeth Knight says, like a turkey through the brush, the Raiders are done. And he also says there's no such thing as a jinx. So, yeah, Kings, please don't play with the food.
I say I don't have power, but then the Makloff magic, it's powerful, man. It's powerful.
Hey.
And it works the other way too. Look what happened to the Packers after I left Wisconsin. The Brewers are about to dismantle that team that's made the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years. It works the other way as well.
Many people throughout the country are having these conversations trying to figure out what's gone wrong with both of those organizations.
Right.
Rami Makloff is like the simple.
And people trying to figure out what's going on with this Kings team. How'd they finally get it right?
I can't argue.
It's not a play thing.
I mean, men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Sure.
I mean, it's
Kevin Herter, Malik Monk, Mike Brown, Keegan Murray, whatever. The biggest acquisition this offseason is your boy.
Rami Makloff. Run CMC, whatever. We got Rami. All right, let's get to the over-unders this week. And before we run through these games, let's first go to JJ and get an update on the standings here.
Yes, sir. After week 9, me and Rami hit on the under for the Packers and the Lions, 49.5. That was a
I can't
terrible
believe
game.
I went with the over.
Yeah. Rami and Chris hit on the over on the Seahawks and Cardinals. It was 50.5. They hit 52. As far as the Rams and Bucks, Rami and Nick hit on the under. Raiders and Jags, everyone hit except for Chris. Tennessee at Georgia, 65.5. Me and Rami hit on the under, which brings Rami up to the lead. He jumped in front of Nick, 24-13. Nick is 23-14, just one game behind my
Shout
man.
out to Tennessee for not showing up last Saturday.
Chris is 19-18, and I'm bringing up the rear at 17-20.
Way to go, Heupel. You had your guys ready. All right, let's get into it. Over-unders, Cardinals, Rams, 40.5.
That seems like a reachable number, right? Although both those offenses, a little bit anemic. Kyler Murray, game time decision. I think I'm going under on this one. I'm going to go with the under on that one.
JJ.
Yes, sir. I think if there's any game, here I go with the Raider style. If the Rams should blow out the Cardinals, it's probably right here, especially if Kyler doesn't. I'm going with the over. I think the Rams score at least 28.
I'm also going over. I'm going to take the chance that Murray plays. They'll both get their points.
Is there a strategy this week? There's been a strategy. Okay.
I'm going under. Stafford's concussed. Kyler's questionable.
That's right. I forgot about Stafford, too.
Arizona's offense is just struggling. The Rams' offensive line is still trash the last time I checked. So I'm going with the under. Cowboys, Packers, 43.
Realize the Packers have scored more than 22 points one time since week 2.
Wow.
One time they've scored more than 22 points since week 2.
One time.
So I'm going with the under on this one.
Yeah, I'm following the cab, Rami. I think the Cowboys put up 30, but I'm not exactly sure what the Packers put up.
No. Cowboys defense against this Packers offense, not good.
I'm going under. Should have been over last week, but Rodgers decided to throw a few picks in the end zone. So
yeah, man. Like that over-under call wasn't as bad. Sorry I couldn't predict Rodgers throwing 3 picks from the 22-yard line and in.
You know who did predict that? JJ and me.
Yeah. I'm going over. Rodgers is motivated. Dak is finding his rhythm. Going over. Colts, Raiders, 40.5.
There's no way. There's no way that an offense coached by Josh McDaniels with no Darren Waller and no Hunter Renfrow and a Colts team with the made-up coach Parks Frazier calling plays for them on the offensive side. If there's no way that these two teams are putting up 41 or more points, there's just no way. Give me the under.
Parks Frazier, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not a real person.
If this game goes over 25, I'll be surprised. Give me the under.
10-3.
I just can't see it going over.
Rami almost spit out
my coffee.
I can't see it going over. I'm taking the under too.
Under. Clean sweep.
Got to, right?
All right. Chargers, Niners, 45.5.
I think this will go over. I can see the 49ers getting up in this one. Chargers feeling a need to play keep up and a little bit of a shootout breaking up. I'm taking the over in this one.
Too good of a defense from the 49ers. Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. Give me the under 24-17, 24-12, something in there.
I'm taking the over. They're opening up the offensive playbook so they get those points.
Sure.
They are opening up.
Give me the over. I think the Niners get to 30, and I think, Herbert's going to play catch up, even if it's like a touchdown, 10 points in the fourth quarter, just to kind of throw it up on the board. So I'm going to go over. Last one, we go to college football. Number 9, Alabama. Oh, Alabama. At Ole Miss, number 11 in the country. 65, Rami.
I don't know anything about college football. But I think Alabama's usually good at defense. From what I
Not the last few years.
No, not the last few years.
I
So
mean, they're okay this year. A little better this year.
I'm going to take the under in this one.
Yeah, smart move. I'll take the under.
I'm taking the under.
Over!
Oh, shootout.
Ole Miss's defense is awful. They're giving up like 50 points a game. I think, again, this might be one of those late game situations where, Alabama puts that on them, gets like 42 points, 45 points, and then Ole Miss scores 10, 14 late points to make it look a little bit better. So I'm going to go over. There you have it, the over-unders this week. I now have to leapfrog Ramie. I blame Aaron Rodgers. He better make it up this week.
Better be careful. He'll shoot back at you now.
He will.
Next thing, press conference post-game, he won't even talk about the game. He'll be talking about Nick Cattles.
He hears everything, doesn't he? All right, is LeBron James fading? Our answer's coming up next.
Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140.
Lakers live from the Crypt in L.A. Tip-off begins at 7:30, but of course we have you covered here on 1140 as game night begins at 6 to be followed by the pregame. And of course the G-Man, Gary Gerald, on the mic with all of the action. On the court in the NBA, we have 3 games currently in action right now. Boston and Denver are going at it in the second quarter. Let's just say it's good news there, Nick. Maybe. The Magic lead Suns 46-39 with 3 minutes left in the second, while the Pistons lead the Knicks early in the first 14-12. In the NFL, the 49ers are welcoming a cavalry of players back to the field Sunday night, 8 to be exact. Elijah Mitchell, Kyle Juszczyk, wide receivers Deebo Samuel, Jawan Jennings, Colton McKivitz, Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Jordan Willis will all be back for the team. A few players the 49ers won't have to worry about is wide receivers Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They'll both miss the game as the Chargers ruled both of them out today. On the diamond, the LA Dodgers, they have reportedly agreed to a 1-year extension with their longtime ace Clayton Kershaw. According to John Heyman of the New York Post, the deal is worth around $20 million. Those are your Sac Sports 1140 headlines. I'm Jay Johnson. Now coming up, more of the Cattles and Ramie Show.
Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
All right, so we got Kings-Lakers tonight. Don't go anywhere but here for that game. Of course, we have game night coming up at 6 o'clock. We've got the pregame, get the game, get the postgame, and we also have the Sactown Sports Kings recap show happening on the YouTube channel tonight, youtube.com. Sactown Sports 1140.
Who's on that one tonight?
I believe it's Dave, because I saw Chris tweet out today that he's going to be doing the post game on Sunday night. So I believe
sure it wasn't me.
Yeah, I believe it's Dave. I believe it's Dave.
Man, Watkins is busy. He's got game night, then he's got pre and post game tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah. He's
a young man.
Young man is stepping up. He's going to be doing all the festivities around the game tonight. And then, as Chris said, he's got his Kings Weekly show tomorrow at 11 a.m. You want to listen to that. And then he's back at it Sunday night, post Warriors Kings, to do the recap show on the YouTube channel. So
you better bring it.
Lots going on.
He's bringing it.
Lots going on for the one, the only Chris Watkins. We're very happy for Chris as he continues to develop and build and become somebody very, very crucial to this radio station, this brand. So tonight we got LBJ. LeBron is doubtful. I don't think any of us expect him to play. And it's been a rocky start for the Lakers. It has not been a great start for LeBron, which we'll get into. But you start with the roster construction, Ramie. This roster just doesn't make sense. It has not made a lot of sense from day one. You usually surround LeBron with shooters. That's always kind of been the plan. You surround him with shooters, then he drives and kicks. He gets all the attention. And so when you have a team that just can't shoot around LeBron, it's not going to look great. And it has not looked great. Here's ESPN and also a friend of LeBron, I believe, Richard Jefferson, talking about it.
I haven't spoken to him, but I feel like him signing that extension was the biggest mistake he's made in his career. And I stand by that. I don't think leaving Cleveland, people might question why he left Cleveland or how he left Cleveland. I don't think even leaving Miami. Even Pat Riley at the time was like, why are you leaving? We're built for a long-term situation. Went back to Cleveland, wins a championship. And then even after he leaves Cleveland, Cleveland's like, hey, we appreciate everything you've done. You come to LA, you win a championship. But signing this extension right now, last summer, it just was so confusing to me because I think he did it because he was committed to the organization. I know you got 2 picks. I'm going to show you my commitment to you so that you can go make some moves. Because we knew what this team was a year ago. We knew what this team was a year ago, last year, and they haven't added any tangible pieces.
All right, so that was Jefferson just kind of looking at the roster and chopping it down like we have. And there have been some questions, Ramie, about whether or not LeBron is starting to fade and if he still has it. And LeBron spoke to the media this week about just that.
It's motivation for myself to continue to play at a high level, no matter the mileage or the years or the games or whatever the case may be, which I've been on the floor. So I like to try to push the limit and even try to excel the limit when it comes to this game and how much I can contribute at a high level.
So LeBron's saying, everybody calm down, everybody chill. Do you think LeBron is starting to fade?
It'd be hard for me to say yes. Now maybe And I know KCP said he doesn't see the spark or the fire or
something like
whatever it was. Certainly, the last year plus and what's gone down with the Lakers can take a little bit of the light out of somebody. You know what I mean? And that electricity, that spark, that charisma, whatever you think it might be. So maybe there is a little bit of that going on. But man, you look at the numbers, and just last season, if he was playing for a contending team, we're talking about a guy who's solidly in the MVP discussion, if not bringing home an MVP trophy. He averaged 30 points, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds a game. And I'm just rounding, like it was a little bit over all those numbers. And this year, he's averaging almost 25, almost 7 assists, or almost 7 rebounds, and almost 9 assists per game. So, and I know that those numbers can come in many different forms and fashions, and just because the numbers look good doesn't mean he's still that dude. But man, I'm just not ready to count out LeBron James yet. A bad situation can really suck the life out of anybody. LeBron seems drained. Like 3 games into the season, his press conferences sounded like somebody who was at the end of a very trying season. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he might be drained emotionally, but as far as the game, even if he lost a half a step, I think he's found ways to make up for that and compensate for that. And he's still a top 3 player in this game, man, easily.
Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports, by the way, will have your chance to win Kings tickets coming up in the next 15, 20 minutes. So you want to stay tuned for that. Again, we'll give you a chance to win Kings tickets, Kings Pistons tickets a week from Sunday at Golden One. You'll have that opportunity coming up in about 15, 20 minutes. So do not miss out. At some point within the next 15, 20 minutes, we'll be giving those tickets away to you. Look, I'm not there yet on LeBron. It's very difficult because of a 10-game stretch to say, oh, he's fading, he's done, this is it. But I will say he's off. And I will say that there needs to be some concern, even if it's just a little bit of concern from the Lakers, because the injuries are accumulating. You know, I feel like we look at LeBron as some kind of machine because of just, you know, the way he looks.
Because he's been a machine.
And the way he's played
in his career.
But not as much the last few years. Like, if you look at it, you go back to 2018, he played 55 games. In 2019, he played 67. In 2020, it was 45. Last year, it was 56. The injuries are accumulating. And yes, some of that last year, I'm sure was, you know, he was sitting out and they weren't going to do much of anything. So, you know, he missed some extra games. But the point is the point. This is not somebody who's giving you 70 games a year anymore. And it's not, he hates load management. LeBron has come out and said, no, I plan every year to play 82 games. People pay to see me. I'm supposed to be out there. It's part of my legacy. He takes great pride in being available. So he is not that guy who's out there every night anymore. And look, I don't think it's even a criticism. He's going to be 38 years old in December. Like, this is just what happens when you are a professional athlete and you play an 82-game season, you know, when you're 37, 38 years old. So the injuries are accumulating, and some of the numbers tell you that, you know, at least in this 11 games this year, he is not the same guy offensively. And I looked this up last night. Second lowest field goal percentage of his career so far would be this season if he continues down this path. Second lowest. His worst three-point percentage of his career would be this season if he continues to go down that path. He has the lowest offensive rating right now since his rookie season. So if these numbers continue to go that way, and we know that LeBron, like if you look at defensive rating, last year he was 111, this year he's 111. That's, you know, 2 of the worst marks he's had in his career. And we know LeBron doesn't play defense every possession like he used to, because I think intelligently he kind of looks at it and says, I got to save my gas for the other end, especially when I play on a team like this that can't shoot. But yes, you know, the injuries are accumulating. His offensive game is suffering right now. I think a big part of that is the roster, but I also think he's going to be 38 in December, man. And, you know, when you're tied for the worst defensive rating of your career and those offensive numbers are as low as they've been, and you keep getting injured and nicked up, and you're getting frustrated, I think this is a big problem for the Lakers. And I do wonder if eventually here, sooner rather than later, LeBron puts the heat on them. And it's like, hey, look, if we don't get better, I got to go elsewhere. He just signed the extension, I know, but that doesn't matter in the NBA.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll go that far, especially not publicly, because he's already taken so much heat, rightly or not, for the way that he's moved from team to team throughout his career. Obviously, the decision, the one that he caught the most flack for. I think he's very conscious of his legacy, and I think he wants to finish a Laker because of the heritage franchise that the Lakers are, and I think he's dead set on bringing some glory back to the Lakers. And you know what, man? I'm a LeBron fan, but at the same time, he asked for a lot of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he wanted the Westbrook deal.
Go down with the ship. Go down with the ship. Be honorable and go down with the ship. Play the violin while the Titanic goes down, LeBron.
He wanted the Westbrook deal. Obviously, he was in cahoots on the Anthony Davis deal. So, yes, he deserves some of the blame. And I'm tired of seeing some people say, like, oh, LeBron doesn't have enough help. They haven't surrounded him. Well, he's a part of that. He is a part of the decision-making process. 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. Don't forget, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. We will have your chance to win some Kings tickets coming up. Also, coming up, we've got On the Record.
Your home for the most comprehensive 49ers coverage. Debo, Bosa, to our very own Armstead. The 49ers Authority, Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports. Your local sports leader.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's Black Friday sales event?
Right now, save up to $6,000 off MSRP on new 2022 Ram 2500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4s with no payments for 90 days. If you need a new work truck, that's 3 months of work before your first payment. And only at Hoblet, save an extra $1,000 for all business owners, farmers, and first responders.
Wow, a Hoblet exclusive $1,000 discount. That's double what Chrysler was offering. Do you have anything else going on, Chad?
Yep, you can save up to $10,000 off MSRP on new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs with no payments for 90 days and interest rates so low you'll think it's 2019. Plus, with our true price, you don't have to worry about last-minute add-ons or dealer markups.
Stop by the Hoblet Ram Truck Center off County Road 102 and I-5 in Woodland, or search Select and Save at HobletDodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period.
$6,000 total net savings after $1,000 factory rebates and $5,000 dealer discount. Rebates include $1,000 Hoblet Ram coupons only while supplies last. Dealer discounts include $1,000 business owner, farmer, first responder discount. Not all buyers will qualify. $10,000 total net savings after $5,500 factory rebates and $4,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,000 price cap bonus cash. Must finance with price cap to qualify, and $1,000 Hoblet Ram coupons only while supplies last. 5 each net savings. See dealer for details.
Some things just need to be recorded, not TikTok. We're talking about predictions and guarantees. It's on the record.
But off the record, I can't stand those.
All right, we'll have your chance to win Kings tickets. Stay tuned for that. At some point during this segment, we will give away some Kings tickets to one lucky listener. Kings Pistons a week from Sunday. That game is happening at Golden 1. Get your information at SactownSports.com. But again, at some point during this segment, we will give away those tickets. But first, let's do some On the Record, boys. Let's get this going. As we always do, let's go to JJ to update the records, the averages for us.
My bad. We weren't up here back here.
There he is.
Yes, sir. There you go. Rami, you're above the Mendoza line, my man. You actually hit on the Raiders will not be 5-5 by Thanksgiving last week, so that took you over. You're hitting.
Oh man, that means I lost it.
Yes, you did. 214. You're in 214 there, sir. As far as you, Nick, you're just above Rami. You had 231. You missed on the Raiders 5-5, and you missed on Keegan will score 20 points versus the Magic last week.
Come on, Keegan.
By the way, Rami, you missed on Fields and 6 on the World Series, and you missed on Keegan will score 20 points and Kings win against. Yes,
both you and I lost on Keegan.
Yes, and Chris, you are 333, my man. You missed on a few things there.
But he's still hitting 333.
Astros will win and Dusty will retire. Well, he signed on for another year. Patrick Mahomes, the Kings will have a better schedule than the Dubs on Tuesday. That was, of course, a miss as the Warriors won on a few questionable calls. Raiders will win out in November. Well, they took the loss against the Jags. And I know one you want to dispute there, Chris. Am I correct on that?
Yeah. You're forgetting one. I got the Joe Mixon one right.
Let's hear the sound real quick there, brother.
All right, we got Verlad.
I am going with Joe Mixon. I'm just going to tear it up. I'm just going to say he gets 5 touchdowns this weekend.
We got shit.
Five touchdowns?
5 touchdowns.
So he will account for 5 touchdowns.
5
That's
touchdowns.
a home run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody scoring 5 touchdowns.
It's a lot of touchdowns.
That's the Al Bundy plus 1.
Bundy plus 1. The Bundy plus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of touchdowns.
Wow.
Even from Joe Mixon.
Yeah, there's a home run.
I want to know how much work Chris put into that to make it sound like he said Mixon was going to score 5 touchdowns last week.
Dingers.
If you don't know, he actually said that it was Patrick Mahomes that was going to score 5 touchdowns.
I got a text this morning asking if I could somehow, some way get you to say Joe Mixon at some point in the show.
Did.
Yes, I did. So that they could
How
put
did you
together.
get me to say it?
We might have had a text about a fantasy football.
Yeah, somebody, a listener texted in a Joe Mixon fantasy question.
You got to be
today.
kidding me. You got to be kidding me. The text was one of you clowns.
It was the mastermind behind it all. You can choose which one you thought that would be.
Line stepper.
That's unbelievable. I've been set up. I've been snookered. I've been hoodwinked.
Yes, sir.
I've been bamboozled.
All of the above, man.
My goodness.
It's a beautiful. I'm hitting 429. I missed on 3 things last week. Sac Kings will go 2-8 in the first 10. Of course, they haven't. At the Bucks will have 13 more games in the month of November. They only lose once. They've already lost twice. And the Kings, they'll blow out the Magic by 20. Of course, they did not.
429. Look at JJ. Wow. All right, again, we'll be giving away some Kings tickets. Stay tuned for it within the next few minutes. But let's go to our first on the record. I'll begin.
All right.
The Kings win tonight by 15 or more.
Ooh.
And Malik Monk scores at least 20.
Like it. That's a triple.
That's a triple for
That's
sure.
a triple right there.
15 plus, I get a triple.
I was going to say a home run. But
You think
it's
it's a home
triple.
run?
I think so.
15
I almost
or
went
more.
home run.
Monk with 20, you said?
Monk with 20.
Yeah, I'm giving you a home run.
Like,
you're right.
They
you're
win
right.
by 15 plus he gets 20?
Yeah, that's right. You're
I'm
right.
going to say, yeah, all right. Inside the park home run.
Yeah.
Third base coach waved him in.
Hey, as long as I got to the dish,
You're
you're
right.
safe. All right, Rami.
The Kings, I have 3 just straight up win-loss predictions this weekend. The Kings are 500 by the time we reconvene on Monday. The Kings are a 500 basketball
We're allowed
team
to
by
have
the
that
time
one?
we reconvene on
That's
Monday.
a single because that's mine.
So that so they got to beat the Lakers tonight and the Warriors
And the
at home
Warriors
on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll give a double.
All right.
Going double?
That's what I figured it'd be.
Yeah, because I
wasn't
mean,
looking for
you
more
gotta,
than a double.
you got to figure that tonight they're favored, so
Yeah, I was looking for a double. I'm just trying to get it in the gap,
can't give them too much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I like that. I'm kind of following your prediction there, Nick. I'm saying I'm doubling down. I'm saying the Kings will beat the Lakers by 20. And I think
20.
De'Aaron has 40.
Oh, wow. Home run.
That's a home run because if they're up by 20,
40.
Fox has to score
He's got
very
quick.
quickly.
He's got to do his thing.
Yeah,
that's a home run.
Yeah, I'm a 40.
you a home run
The 40 burger is the one that gets me.
Yeah,
with Fox, I'll give you a home run on that.
All right, I'm just going to add to this game tonight. Let's see something special. I'm going to say Sabonis gets his triple-double tonight.
Sabonis gets a triple-double. A trip-dub.
Triple?
Double.
I feel like that's a
I'm saying triple.
Anthony Davis might not play.
Stand up triple.
Stand up?
Stand up triple.
Stand up triple. All right, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Stand up triple. Do we have to classify these now? Stand up triple.
Yes.
In the park home run.
He's got them all written down on the computer, too.
Inside the park home run. All right, we're going to pause this right now because we're going to give away some Kings tickets. Text line this time around. 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. We've got your chance to win some Kings tickets, Kings Pistons, a week from Sunday at Golden One. You can check out more information, SactownSports.com. Word of the day, Chris.
Losers.
Losers.
Who?
Losers to the text line, 916-339-1140. Text the word losers to that text line, and Chris Verlade will pick one of you listeners to be the lucky winner. 916-339-1140. Text the word losers in, and you'll have a chance to win those tickets. Pistons, Kings, November 20th at Golden One. All right, we continue with On the Record. I'm going to stick with the NBA here. The Utah Jazz will not finish as a top 5 seed in the West. The Jazz will not finish in the top 5 in the West.
I know where they are right now, but I mean, I feel like that's a double. I don't know that is anybody expecting the Jazz to keep this up?
10-3,
keep this up.
Number 1 seed right now in the Western Conference.
I understand.
Shooting the lights out. 4-game winning streak. Undefeated at home.
I expect a cooling off. I don't know about the two guys on the other side of the glass there. I expect a cooling off. That feels like a double to me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'll give you a double.
Double.
All right, I'll take it.
Round to me?
Yes.
The 49ers will not lose more than 1 game in the back half of their schedule here.
Oh, wow.
They won't lose more than 1 game.
That's a home run.
In the back half of their schedule.
That's a home run.
So they're going to be 12-5.
Yes. If not 13-4.
That's a home run.
Home run.
Yeah, one. That's a home run. JJ?
I'm going 49ers too, Rami. We're thinking alike today. I'm going to say OBJ signs with the 49ers.
All right. So you got about, I think, like a 1-3 or a 1-4 chance, right? Because
there's a handful of teams that are probably in the bidding for his services.
Yeah, probably Cowboys.
I'll give a double
Eagles.
just because the Cowboys are in it. And I could see Jerry Jones going crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the double too.
All right.
I'm going to go to the world of entertainment. I'm going to say,
I like this.
Chris Jericho is the Masked Bride singer on The Masked Singer.
All right, I'll give you a single because you've been all over this like the last day.
I don't know anything about it. I can't even say. I don't know anything about this.
I'll give you a quick put.
All right.
This woman is my destiny.
Yeah, that's Chris Jericho.
That's Chris Jericho.
That's Chris Jericho.
Single.
That's a single.
That's
all I needed to hear. That's a single.
Stupid idiot.
That's a Baltimore chopper. Infield single.
Yeah.
Just the turf. Something not right there.
Yeah.
I was going to go more of a bunt with the shift on.
Like when you chop one down on the edge of the plate and it pops right out, the good old Baltimore chop.
Yeah, that's a single.
He sounded awful.
I thought he was in the rock band.
He is.
Okay.
He wasn't singing rock there. All right.
Some are
Last
saying
one.
that's Magoose McQueen. So.
I'm gonna go UFC. I'm going UFC. Frankie Edgar tomorrow night wins his final UFC fight. And for you guys that aren't UFC fans,
Again,
I will tell you
about as much about this as I do the Masked Singer. So.
Edgar is the underdog tomorrow night. He's plus 185.
Who's he fighting?
Castillo. Hold on one second.
I'm not familiar.
Plus
with
185?
I think it's Castillo.
That feels like a double to me.
No.
Just based on the
Sorry.
odds.
Chris Gutierrez.
Not familiar. I'm gonna go stand up ground rule double.
Frankie's 41 years old. Gutierrez is 18-3.
High hopper over the wall for the double.
I'll take a double. I want to see Frankie win. I want to see Frankie win tomorrow night.
All right.
Awesome pay-per-view, by the way. I'm jacked about 281.
Back around to me.
Yep.
The Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes.
Will not win more than 2 games on the back half of their schedule. They won't win more than 2 games on the back half of the schedule.
Okay, hold on.
I'll tell you who it is. I got it up. They got the Colts.
Yeah.
This weekend. Then the Raiders. They host the Raiders.
No.
Or no, I'm sorry. They visit.
You say they can't play themselves.
They visit the Broncos.
There we go.
They visit the Seahawks. They host the Chargers. They visit the Rams.
I said the Raiders. I said, no, they don't.
They host the Patriots. They visit the Steelers. They host the Niners, and then they will host the Kansas City Chiefs in the finale.
Man, that schedule is rough.
It's brutal. No more than 2 wins on there that I can see.
I'll go with I'll go double.
All right. I'll take it.
I'll go double.
I'll say triple. I don't think you're getting it, Rami.
Okay.
I'm so what are we going? I guess
double
I'm
or triple. Yeah, you're the decider.
I'm going triple. That's a lot of games.
All right.
Look at you.
Yeah, it's triple.
Take it.
Rami.
I'm going kind of the same thing. I'm saying the Pittsburgh Steelers will not win another game this season. This is the rest of their schedule.
I'll go with a home run because, to say a team's going to go winless over
that is
9
a home
weeks,
run.
that's going to be a home run.
Yeah, you almost stumble into a win
exactly.
in 9
You got to
weeks.
figure something weird will happen.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Give you a home run on that.
I'm with you there.
All right, Vlad, wrap it up.
Patrick Mahomes will be the regular season MVP and the Super Bowl MVP.
I think, well, he's the front runner for regular season MVP, but you throw on that Super Bowl MVP, that's saying a lot because that means they're going to win at 2 or 3 playoff games, depending on their seeding, plus win the Super Bowl, plus he's going to be the best player in the Super Bowl. I think for all that to happen, it's a home run. Even as good as Patrick Mahomes is, as good as the Chiefs' Super Bowl odds might be.
What do you think, JJ?
That's a home run.
I'm giving him a triple.
I'll give him a triple.
Yeah, I'm not giving Pat Mahomes no home run.
All right, so there you go. There's the on the record. And congratulations to whoever's going to win those Kings tickets. Congrats to you. Speaking of the Kings, 10 games down. What do the next 10 look like? And what does Ramie think are reasonable expectations over those next 10? It's coming up.
Breaking news, the latest happenings with your favorite teams.
You ever wonder about what the heck all these kids are doing on computers all the time?
Stay up to date with all of it by following us on Instagram and Twitter.
Excuse me, gentlemen, a little update for you.
At Sacramento has a new tag team in the afternoons.
You're talking to the original tag team of ugly pukes here.
It's Cattles. It's Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
I remind you that all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Kings Lakers coming up, game night. In less than 30 minutes from right now, Chris Watkins will have you. Then we get the pregame, then we get the game, then we get the postgame, and then don't forget about the Kings Recap Show, Sactown Sports Kings Recap Show on YouTube. Dave will be hosting that tonight. And also something coming up that you want to keep an eye on, Kings Mailbag. And this will start after Turkey Day. The Gobble Gobble. We'll start it on December 1st on that Friday. And what we're doing is if you have Kings questions, you feel free to email them to us each and every week. The digital team will pick 5 of those emails out. And then myself and Ramie, along with Dave and Jason, we will rotate. We will alternate answering those questions each and every week. And we'll have those videos out on the digital platforms on Friday. So that email, if you're wondering, is kingsmailbag@sactownsports.com. Again, this is not starting until after the holiday, but it's kingsmailbag@sactownsports.com. Let's talk Kings. Great start, as we mentioned yesterday, Ramie, considering the context. 4-6, I think you should be very happy. We had Frankie Cartoscelli on the show earlier. He had predicted 3-7. I thought 3-7. You thought 3-7. JJ had 2-8. I think Chris had 2-8, somewhere in that area. So all of us thought, 2 or 3 wins given the schedule, sitting at 4-6, and the fact that you got hosed against Miami late, you got hosed against the Warriors on Monday night. This could easily be a 6-4 start and being in the middle of a 6-game winning streak. So I think it's a great start by the Kings, and you can feel like the momentum of the expectations, and you can feel the culture shifting with Coach Mike Brown. But Coach has been very consistent, Ramie, speaking with the media about how he takes snapshots of the season. Here he was this week talking about those 5-game chunks.
We talked about before the season that we're looking at this thing in many seasons, looking at every 5 games. And there are benchmarks that we want to hit after every 5 games. And, obviously the first 5 we were 1-4. This 5 we were 3-2. And with the 2 being games that could have gone either way for us. And so we need to keep understanding that this is going to be a marathon.
Now, here's the thing. When we talked about the first 10 games of the season, we were taking them in snapshots like Mike Brown does. He does 5 games. We were looking at 10 games. We're 10 games in. Now we look at the next 10. And if you thought that it was going to go from like a very difficult schedule in the first 10 to something super duper easy the second set of 10 games, that's not necessarily the case. Now, there are some games that they should win, right? I mean, there are games on this schedule starting with tonight over the next 10 where you feel pretty good about them. But not easy. You've got the Warriors coming up again on Sunday at Golden 1. Then you play the Nets. That's going to be a nationally televised game, TNT, and the Nets are playing better as of late.
That's
of course,
right. That one did get moved to TNT.
You've got to deal with Kevin Durant. So you got the Warriors, you've got the Nets. You have to play at Memphis. You have to play at Atlanta. And Atlanta is playing good basketball right now, by the way. DeJounte Murray's off to a very good start.
Yeah, they are.
Atlanta right now, they're 8-4. So right now they're the 4th seed in the East. So you've got to play at Atlanta, and then you've got to play at Boston. Obviously not easy. And then you've got to play Phoenix. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 10 games that I just named over the next 10 that we've got: Warriors, Nets, Memphis, Atlanta, Boston, Phoenix. And you're playing at Memphis, at Atlanta, at Boston. What is acceptable to you, Ramie, over the next 10?
I think we go into this 10 maybe with slightly higher expectations than we went into the first 10, because it's not as tough. It's not as tough as what you saw in the first 10 games. And I don't know about you, Nick, I feel a little bit better about the Kings than I did 10 games ago, based on what I've seen, based on the progress that I've seen in some areas where we all knew we needed to see some improvement on what happened last year. So I'm going to say they should be able to win 5, 6, of these next 10? We came into the first 10 saying 3 or 4. If they come out with 3 or 4 of these first 10 games, we should be happy with that. I think winning 5 or 6 of the next 10 games, given the schedule and the fact that they're still on the learning curve, man. This is not, I don't think, we talked with our Kings insider, Frankie Cartoscelli, in the 3 o'clock hour, as we do every Friday. And he said he thinks there's still some room between the best version of the Kings that we've seen thus far and what can be the best version of the Kings. What is their ceiling? So I think they're still inching towards that, and it's a tough schedule. Get 5 of these, and I'm going to be happy.
I am right with you. And I know it doesn't make for exciting, exhilarating radio, but
argue with me now.
I'm right with
Disagree
you.
with me.
I'm at 5-5. I mean,
I hate you.
I think if you go 5-5, you feel really good about things. And the way I look at this is, I just gave you the tougher games in the next 10. Easy for me to say. But you've looked at some of these other games. Lakers tonight. Got to win this. I mentioned it earlier. Don't play with your food. LeBron's likely out. AD's questionable. Just go take care of business tonight. Get it done. Win by 20. No questions asked. You've got San Antonio. You should be favored in that game. You've got Detroit. You should be favored in that game. You've got Hallie returning with Indiana. You should be favored in that game. So those are 4 games that you should clearly be favored in. And you should win those games. You should win 3, if not all 4 of those games. So similarly to what I said in the first 10 games this season, win the games that you're supposed to win and then be a good team. Now I feel like it's win the games that you're supposed to win and beat 1 or 2 good teams. Like, get one of the games against the Warriors, the Nets, Memphis, Atlanta, Boston, Phoenix. Get 1 or 2 of those games and then take care of the Lakers, Spurs, Pistons, and Pacers. And now you're talking 5-5, 6-4. I'm also very interested in, some of the things that we're watching. As I said, Hallie will return to Sacramento for the first time since the trade. That will be on November 30th. Emotions will be high. Jaden Ivey will be visiting the tickets that we just gave away last segment. Pistons, Kings, November 20th, a week from Sunday at Golden One. Jaden Ivey will be here. And so if you go 5-5, you feel really good. But imagine if you go 6-4, you are 10-10 after 20 games. 10-10 feels really good. If I told you before the season tipped off that they could go 10-10 in their first 20 looking at this schedule, I think every single Kings fan would have taken that. No doubt about that. And they've got a chance. They've got a good chance at 10-10. So we'll see what they do starting tonight in LA against the Lakers. And then they've got the Warriors on Sunday night here at Golden One. And then, we'll see Tuesday against the Nets. But it'll be an interesting next 10 games for sure. It's you're kind of weaving in and out of really good teams, and bad teams.
They're a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, a little bit.
Off what you just went through in the first 10 games, but not the breather that you might have thought. You might have got out of these 10 games off. Whew, man, glad that's over. And then you look at the next 10 and you're like, oh man.
It's
really
not completely out of the woods. Not completely out of the woods. Up next, we've got some other news for you.
Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140.
The game of football.
I mean, you can start us off.
You want me to start off?
Yeah, I want you to start.
All right. You ever see a warning and you're like, man, there's a reason they had to warn people not to do that. People were doing that thing that they're warning people not to do. The U.S. National Park Service is warning visitors to stop licking one of America's largest toads.
What?
The potentially deadly Sonoran desert toad.
Why?
Also known as, hold on. Also, you'll know why in a second. Also known as the Colorado River toad, excretes a toxin which can harm humans, and some say it has psychedelic effects. In a Facebook
people are
post,
tripping off the toads.
In a Facebook post, the service warned people to, quote, refrain from licking the amphibians, which can be as big as 7 inches and have glowing eyes. Quote,
glowing eyes?
Yes, as we say with most things you come across in a national park, whether it be a banana slug, unfamiliar mushroom, or a large toad with glowing eyes in the dead of the night, please refrain from licking. According to the Oakland Zoo, some people have exploited the toad's toxin as a psychedelic, smoking it to experience euphoria and hallucinations. It added that one of the chemicals can be found in the toad skin. Bufotenin is illegal to possess here in California, and the reason I picked this story is because I love this sentence, but in neighboring Arizona, one can legally capture up to 10 toads with the proper license. Toxins from the toad can also kill a grown dog. Don't lick toads, people.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to be told not to lick toads. What are we doing?
Why would you just, there's a toad. I feel like I got to lick toad now.
Who discovered this toxin in these toads that made you feel some sort of way? Who picked up a toad and was like, I wonder if this thing would make me trip?
Like, it's a great idea if I just grabbed that toad and started licking the toad.
Lick this toad.
What's
wrong with people?
All right, so when I was single, or at least living by myself, I would cook chicken like every night. Like I would literally eat chicken almost every single night of the week.
Okay.
Chicken, rice, and corn was like my thing. That was my thing.
It's very boring.
I literally, it doesn't seem it. It is. I admit it. But I would cook.
Was it the same preparation of the chicken every night?
You want to get into this?
Sure.
All right, so here it was.
Genuinely curious.
I'm OCD and I'm very routine.
Wait, what?
Yeah. You didn't know that, Chris? You couldn't tell? 55 times I use hand sanitizer during the show.
So wild.
I'm OCD. Last night, dude, I had anxiety. I was staring at my clock for 3 minutes last night. It's like making sure the alarm was on.
Oh, I've done that before.
So it's like nonstop. Kelly's got to tell me. I actually asked Kelly. I'm like, Kelly, 12:21.
Wait, don't you just set the alarm on your phone?
No.
Or you have an actual alarm clock next to your bed?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that part of the OCD?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, so I would when I was living by myself, laugh at my expense. It's fine. It's all funny. So when I was living by myself, I would on Sundays I would cook chicken for like the next 3 or 4 nights.
Meal prep.
Like so Sunday I would cook all the chicken and I would cook I would make sure I get all the rice.
Yeah.
All the corn.
Yeah.
I'd section it off evenly.
It's meal prep.
I'd put it all in Tupperware. I'd put it right in the fridge. And the chicken was, pretty much the same every night.
Okay.
A little salt and pepper, nothing spectacular.
Wow.
Ketchup on it.
Ketchup?
Yeah. Big ketchup fan. Addicted. Honey mustard and ketchup. You don't want me near a honey mustard bottle. It gets angry.
Ketchup on just some plain chicken?
So why do I talk about
I'm
this?
disturbed.
You should be.
I am.
Maybe you'll be even more disturbed by this Philadelphian. So the Food Network, for 40 days straight, one Philadelphia man ate a rotisserie chicken. 40 days straight. This guy's my hero.
I saw this story.
40 days straight.
I'm not that impressed.
Every day between September 28th and this past Sunday, Alexander Tominski, a 31-year-old, ate an entire chicken.
I can eat a whole rotisserie chicken, no problem.
40
days
straight.
Are you serious?
Sure. Yeah.
Wait, you just said to me it sounds boring for eating chicken like 5 days a week.
You're talking about just some plain I'm assuming chicken breast.
Hold on.
With salt and pepper. A rotisserie.
Are you telling me you can eat a rotisserie chicken 40?
Yes,
40?
easily.
Are we going to do this?
Are you going on the record?
No way. Other than the boredom.
Do we start bringing rotisserie chicken in for you?
But it's not. I don't think HR would let us if they wouldn't let JJ do the one chip challenge.
If he was going to eat a chip, that might absolutely blow out his esophagus.
I don't know. Is there some sort of health risk that goes with eating a rotisserie chicken every day?
If you get a bone down the throat, I would guess.
I mean, I could take down a rotisserie chicken, no problem.
All right, so this guy ate a whole chicken.
Usually when I buy a rotisserie, like I'll have some for dinner, and then the rest of it is like sitting on the counter, and I just keep going and picking at it.
That's what Kelly does,
and it's gone by the end of the night anyway.
Kelly will get
rotisserie chicken. It's not impressive.
I have at least like 2 meals a week for lunch with chicken, like salad with chicken on it. I eat salad every day of the week, well, Monday through Friday. Actually, 4 out of the 5 days. I have a sandwich the other day. I told you, OCD, routine oriented. If you don't believe me,
what's sandwich day? I'm curious.
Sandwich day is usually Thursday.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, what's on that sandwich?
Yesterday was a sandwich day. Usually turkey, some cheese, a little bit of lettuce.
Okay.
Honey mustard on the side.
Any condiments?
Honey mustard
on the side though.
Yeah.
No mayonnaise on the
side.
bread.
I like to dip it. I like to dip the sandwich.
Good to know.
Wrap, always a wrap, not a sandwich.
That's not a sandwich. That's a wrap.
Yep, that's a wrap. I'm with you.
Sandwich is a wrap.
No,
what are we doing?
Nope. It's not.
No, it's not.
Tortilla, some type of wrap.
Yeah, it's bread with a protein and cheese in it. That's
not a sandwich.
No, it's not a sandwich.
You just described a burrito.
And a bag disrespectful of burritos. I'm sorry. And a bag of veggie straws.
Okay.
A little small bag.
Oh man, you like them old godforsaken things, man?
Zesty Ranch.
Really?
Not the regular ones.
The wife eats those
I'm a
things.
fan of those.
No.
They have the texture of packing peanuts. I'm not a fan.
Any more judgment you want to cast on me today? Or we got a few more minutes. You got more.
No, I want you to finish.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah. He's getting his next thing ready.
At noon on November 6th, in an otherwise joyless spot, a pier near an abandoned Walmart, Tominski capped off his foul journey. I didn't write this, folks.
Hey-o.
Food Network did.
Hey-o.
In a public display of chicken eating, inviting a city to experience the transcendent, if transient, pleasures of a mission accomplished. He ate the 40th chicken, and he took a picture. He put it online, triumphantly hoisting an empty rotisserie chicken container aloft. And so why did he do this?
Yeah, that was my question. Why?
He told Action News, which sounds fake, 9 Action News, quote, "I just felt like it seemed right," unquote. In part, he was trying to relieve, get this, this is like, if this guy ever told me this at like a get-together, I tell him to leave the room.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to relieve the pain in the world by enduring his own pain to bring joy to others. He told the New York Times, quote, "It sounds weird, but I just felt like I was doing this for a very important reason." Dude, you ate rotisserie chicken.
Chicken, bro.
You didn't save the world, my man.
You didn't do anything for the world. You ate chicken. That's all you did.
Why don't you eat a half a chicken and then give the other half to people that need the chicken?
I don't like
now that's
that
doing
guy.
something for the world.
A, I'm not impressed. B, I don't like that guy.
Yeah, it's like he's bragging about eating rotisserie chicken like he just
Eating a
solved the
rotisserie
world's
chicken
problems.
is not an impressive feat.
He's like
I'm
these
sorry.
idiots in D.C. I'm making change. I'm eating rotisserie chicken.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Chris, you got one? JJ, you got one quick?
I got one also in Arizona, Rami.
Things
A man
happen in Arizona.
was pulled over, and when the police walked over to check him out,
Mm-hmm.
they found a small live owl beside him in the car. While asking the man where the owl came from, the man told officers another driver found the bird along the road and sold it to him for $100 at a gas station.
What?
Huh? Are you buying an owl for $100 at the petrol spot?
No, I'm.
Well, this might make
Like real talk though.
this might make sense on why the man bought the owl. The driver faces multiple charges, including aggravated DUI, possession of methamphetamine, and possession, transport, or purchase of wildlife.
Was the stuff in the owl?
No, it wasn't in the owl.
I've had people try to sell me a lot of stuff at the gas station.
Not an owl.
Sunglasses, hats.
I've never had anybody try to
check
sell
out
me
these
anything.
watches.
CDs.
Look at these shoes. Check out these shoes
I've never had that happen.
Never once.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I've
Really?
never somebody had a guy like. Are you talking about like the employee at the gas station or just some rando?
No,
No,
randos.
it's a guy.
I've never had a rando.
Hey, you
like,
need a
just-
radio?
Yeah,
never, not one time.
Never once.
At a gas station?
Never
No.
once.
I think that says more about us guys on where we get our gas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you pumping that fuel?
Never once has somebody pop their trunk and be like,
need a speaker?
Hey man, what you think of these owls?
Yo, I got an owl.
You know what I mean?
By the way, how do you come up with $100? Like, it's just like, how do you know how much an owl costs? It feels like something that would cost $100.
So the Payson Police Department, they said that they would like to take this opportunity to encourage the public not to use methamphetamine.
Yes.
Or you too may find yourself illegally purchasing a wild owl for $100 in the middle of the night from strangers at a local gas
Hold
station.
on, that's your biggest issue if you're taking meth, is buying an owl at a gas station?
It's a pretty serious issue.
That's yeah.
I think you'd have a lot more problems.
I'm
than
scared
the,
straight.
Yeah.
I'm good, and no owls for me.
You know what's interesting is my story, and I know I'm not going to get it all in. Is it's about a bird and chicken as well. We were all about
What's
it.
going on there?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but let's just say
The aviary episode.
at the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, the Transportation Safety Administration, they went on to find a stuffed chicken. What the chicken was stuffed with? How about a 9mm gun? What? A woman found flying to Port-au-Prince in Haiti mistakenly believed a gun could fly if put inside a chicken, or at least she thought so, according to TSA.
Sorry, ma'am, you can't fly with that 9mm. But I got it.
Actually, it was a Cluck 9.
Oh.
And that's how we end the week.
Just take us out.
That's
Mike.
how
It's
we
over.
Chris just ended our week with that.
He might have just ended the show with that. We should be
It's
canceled.
over.
I'm never coming back. Enjoy your weekend. Lakers Kings tonight.
I am nourished by your hatred.
I'm embarrassed to say the name of the show. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports.
Don't do it. Reconsider. Read some lips.